All right. Welcome, welcome, one and all, to the latest episode of the Xbox 2 podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Rand Thor 19, the man with the million. And with me, as always, we have Jez Corden, recent interviewer of Mr. God Howard. What's going on, buddy?
Hey man, yeah, it's been a pretty insane 24 hours in Camp Windows Central, I would say. Camp Windows Central, which now consists entirely of me, because I don't have a team anymore. Thanks, capitalism, but hey ho, we persevere as we must. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy 24 hours, as you guys might have seen. Bethesda announced a ton of news, and it's been a whirlwind couple of weeks in the Xbox camp. Id has been talking too. And oh boy, we got a lot to talk about this week, Rand. We sure do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it never. I mean, Good Friday news? That never happens. It's always sort of like under the cover clandestine. Well, we need to get our bad news out on a Friday so nobody talks about it. It's kind of like the old playbook from the old days. I don't think these PR companies really realize that like everything's 24/7 now, so it doesn't matter if you have bad news on Friday, unless of course you're trying to not really affect your stock very much, right? Uh
Yeah.
but like yeah, seeing the stuff from Bethesda today was definitely not something I'd ever expect them to do, and definitely not on a Friday. So there's that. There's a whole
Yeah, I
bunch
didn't
of
expect that either.
yeah, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Um, but other than that, I mean, how are you, bro? You doing all right? You chilling? You playing
Yeah,
games? You,
I sound good. I mean, I feel good, but people in chat are saying you sound like you're on a different mic. You got the right mic selected on Streamlabs?
I mean, I only have one mic, like
Oh,
hooked up.
interesting. Because you sound fine to me, but people are saying you sound different. Have you got an
Interesting.
internal mic on that PC?
No, there's no internal mic on this.
You sound
Uh,
exactly the same to me. Interesting.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I only have one mic. Let me here. You talk. Let me look at my Discord settings.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's been a pretty crazy week. Hello to everyone in chat, and hello to everyone listening on Spotify and other places. It's been a crazy, crazy couple of weeks. Um, I see you guys in the chat, rocking and a rolling. Rico Scott says, due to budget cuts, Rand has been replaced with AI, so his voice might sound a little off. I hope you haven't been replaced by AI, Rand. That would be bad. That would be really bad. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We've we have got a ton to talk about tonight. We've got also, of course, Bethesda's big announcements. We got news about Starfield. Got news about Fallout 76. There's also some restructuring news about ZeniMax Online Studios. We've also got some news about Starfield and the Starborn DLC, which I'm a little confused. I always thought it was DLC, but the way they talked about it in the note made it sound like it wasn't DLC. Maybe the Starfield fan in the chat can tell me what's going on with Starborn. And then, of course, we've got Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3 remasters being announced. I called them remakes on Twitter, much to people's annoyance. They are remasters, not remakes. And also, we got confirmed Fallout 5's in pre production, which means we'll probably get it in, I don't know what, 10 years, 15 years, maybe. Elder Scrolls 6 trucking along nicely, according to the note. So we yeah, we have like a bunch of new content coming for Elder Scrolls Online as well, seasonal model, and a big DLC for 76, which is a prequel to Fallout 3. So that's a lot of stuff, man. That's a metric ton of things to talk about. But and we've got Scarcely Relevant with a member of 76 months, nearly 8 months supporting the best cast. Thank you so much, dude. You're absolutely awesome. Greg says Starborn DLC has been rumored for a while. Yeah, they trademarked Starborn, so I thought it was I got it mixed up with Terran Armada because Starborn was trademarked beforehand. So now I'm sitting there wondering, like, is Starborn actually going to be a full blown DLC or something else? I don't know. D Right 79 says, surely there'll be down Sight and Fallout 3 remaster, right? I would imagine so. I mean, after like Fallout 4, it's kind of expected, I would have thought. But we'll see what happens with that one. Rand, are you back? Are you back yet, dude?
Yeah, I was fiddling around with the settings and stuff. I did switch some things in Discord. Uh, but I don't know if it's any. I don't. You'd have to tell. Chat would have to say if it sounds any better. But it didn't
Well,
really.
the thing is, I don't know. It depends how you got it set up because, like, Streamlabs doesn't pick up your Discord, does it? It picks up your mic directly. So I
Yes.
presume it's your Streamlabs. I don't know. But
So
people said
oh,
maybe you need to turn yourself up a little bit, maybe.
I mean, I'm like maxed. Hold on.
Hey, Max. I gotta turn myself down a bit
Hold
then.
on.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm turning myself up higher. You're right. It might be an OBS thing. Let me look at it.
Yeah, have a quick look at OBS. I'll edit
Uh,
this out when we put it up on Spotify. Oh man. Bear with guys. Oh, it's for once Rand's with the audio issues. Usually it's me who's got messed up audio, right?
Mike.
Jogo says Rand sounds fine. It should be crack. Maybe people are just being nitpicky.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I turned myself way up. I just looked in OBS and I selected the mic. I mean, I only have one mic, so I'm not really choosing between anything else. So I,
All right.
it's not like I can just like plug in a different mic. I only have this one. So,
Have you got a new mic stand?
yeah, I have one. It's a smaller one, but I don't know. Maybe it's crunching the like the plug and making it sound worse. Maybe I have to buy a different one. But for the time being, it'll have to be this. So,
Yeah, maybe. Well, anyways, let's get the show underway.
well, maybe you should do all the talking since apparently you sound the best.
Nah, I don't think so. I think you should do it. People
Okay.
don't want to hear my awful West Midlands accent, bro.
You sure? I think they do. I think people would people love your accent. But yeah, let's
Yeah, whatever.
if you enjoy the show, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel and all that good stuff. Sponsor for this episode, although no ad read is Surfshark, surfshark.com/XB2, 86% off a 2-year deal. And then we have our wonderful Patreon members, Jez. You know what? For a lark and a laugh, how about you read out the names this time? Because I'm always the one who has to do it. And let's see how well
All right.
you read some of the names.
Indeed. Well, big shout out to the Xbox 2 VIPs and MVPs. We've got Adam Bartolo, Aloran Grogu, Asatia Madison, Battered Haddock, Briggs Country, Bright Tundra 1, Silas, Deku 2511, Discarded Caboose, NX Governor Grim, I am Chuck Dub, I Mike Zero, In the Machine, James Moore, James Wezo, Justin Duell, Just James 93, Katriox, Lazo Wolf, Murray, Pat Rock, Frosty, Psycho Bandits. I think it's a new one. Randolph Thor 19, RS Donks, Sean Kramer, Shay Elephant, Shrapnel, Tricks Off a Tray, Vito,
Yeah, yeah.
Chiaramonte,
Can you actually say that last name? Come on, Jez. Let's hear you say it.
Chiaramonte,
Is that
Chiaramonte.
is that actually is that actually correct? We need to ask Vito if that's correct.
Yeah, Vito Chiaramonte. Yeah, Wagaman, Wolfgang Keepy Z, and Youngblood 8. Thank you all for the support. And thank you to everyone on Patreon, no matter what tier you're on. Starting at $1.99 for the newsletter and going all the way up to producer tier. Thank you, everyone who supports us. And yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Where do you want to start with, Jez? You want to start with some you know what? I want to start with something here because I saw this the other day. People were sending it to me, and I'm sure they've sent it to you, right? And I'm sick and
Mhm.
tired of this bullshit. Sorry, Todd.
Who?
We do swear on the show because Todd apparently listens to the Xbox too. I don't believe it, but Jez told me that specifically. He mentioned during his interview. So Todd might be listening to this. I don't know. I don't know if he's like Phil and Phil didn't like swearing. Maybe Todd's all about the the f bombs and stuff. But Yeah. Uh, I saw this thing that going around, and I'm sure you did too, Jez, and I'm sure a lot of other people did. And I don't like to burst people's bubbles in particular. There's a lot of hope going around, especially in light of PlayStation and their decision to kill physical games in 2028, which has led to a lot of. I don't know. It's funny because Push Square ran an article, be like, "Oh, the comments are so toxic" or whatever. And if you do look underneath, like almost every single PlayStation post, and YouTube comments, specifically even like this Wolverine one, the boycott is going strong, or at least still going as strong as you can expect with Sony putting out multiple posts a day now, right? And it doesn't really look like it's going to go away. But there's been this kind of, I don't know how to say this, but this sentiment that if Xbox included a disk drive with Helix, then all these people would switch platforms and buy their physical games on the next Xbox console. And that Xbox could do, everyone's like, oh, Xbox can do the funniest thing and do the reverse of 2013 that PlayStation did to them, right? So there was a post by one of these accounts that literally makes shit up 24/7, and people fall for this garbage. But I mean, why should I be surprised? Because this is Elon Musk's Twitter, after all, where anybody can buy a check mark and anybody can, clickbait and just literally lie to make shit up so they can enjoy the 50 cents that Elon pays them, right? And considering most people, they only really look at the titles of the YouTube video. They don't really watch the content. They only look at the titles of articles. They don't read the stuff. It's very much like reaction, like just see that and they believe it. Like someone post a rumor online, they wouldn't lie to my face, would they? No, this has got to be true. And the one I'm talking about here is this rumor about a leak that Helix is going to have a disk drive and support physical games. But
Hmm.
no sourcing whatsoever. There's no like, hey, according to Tom Warren or according to Jez Corden or according to Jason Schreier, just new leak says this, and it's like, where's the source of this? And like, I remember I asked the person who sent it to me, I'm like, where's this coming from? And it was a Twitter account that I know that literally lies all the time about making shit up just so they can get engagement. And it's kind of spread far and wide. I've seen like bigger accounts actually like mention this now. And I just wanted to, a little PSA here. Like, don't believe everything you read on the internet. You know, did you know what I'm talking about here? Have you seen this, like these tweets, Jez? Like from what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I do indeed. I saw like a bunch of these accounts pick this up, and they weren't even like. It's really funny because there's like a sort of cabal of these accounts which sort of aggregate news, and when there's no news, they aggregate lies and they aggregate rumors. And it's so crazy how things like can just go viral with absolutely no information and no source and nothing, you know.
Well, because I think people want it to be true. They, Xbox fans want Xbox to stick it to PlayStation and have like PlayStation fans jump the fence and buy Xboxes and then beat PlayStation. Like, it's like there's that sense of it of like, yeah, we can pull a fast one over there. But like you said, if there's no news or whatever, like people will just repost anything. And I like these people literally just make up lies all day long. And I got really bad because people were messaging me about it. It's like, is this true? And I'm like, I mean, maybe it could be true in the future. I mean, I know Tom Warren reported that no decision had been made, and I think me and you have both thought, you know, at best you could hope for is an attachable disk drive to play your back and pack games. Especially if like Sony stays the course. Like if Sony stays the course and they just ignore their fans, which they all seem to be doing right now, and just say, all right, we're sticking to this because we're retrofitting this plan to do these sort of things, and we want to make more money in digital and less in physical, and we want to control the market. it, I just can't really see. I don't know. It's like you tell a third party like EA and these other companies, like, well, you can't really publish any physical games on a PlayStation. They're probably also not going to really do the same for Xbox at that point. And Xbox probably also would just rather everything be digital, even though it's already mostly digital. So I sort of, as much as I would love to see us lowly gamers bring down $1 billion corporation, uh, I'm not sure it'll happen. But I also sort of feel like these that's the other thing. Like, I sort of wonder if the third party companies want this to happen because they make more money. Because I think they make more money off a digital sale than they do off a physical sale, right? Because they don't have to pay the stores and they don't got to pay like the middleman, the
Yeah, of
people that
course.
packages stuff. So they probably think,
The
well, if
retailer is a
everything's
middleman.
yeah,
The
so like
retailer is a middleman.
so they're but then I guess you can make the argument, well, you're losing shelf space and you're losing that sort of stuff. But is that really the case anymore? How many people actually go out and buy their stuff from the Best Buys of the world? I mean, GameStop literally said that Sony getting rid of their discs is a non-issue for them because like selling games or whatever is like 10% of their business now. Like it doesn't even matter to them. So I sort of wonder, like, the idea of shelf space, does that even matter in the year of 2026? People just gonna buy their stuff directly from PlayStation or from Amazon or online from any of these things? Like, I sort of wonder if that, like, the shelf space thing that people always talk about is a relic of the past. Maybe it matters for consoles, and accessories, but I'm not necessarily sure it really matters for the games. I mean, considering there's a report out here that GTA 6 had record pre-orders. I don't know, like an analyst said that they're basically going to sell like 35 to 50 million copies, and it was like the biggest pre-order campaign in history, which is also
I
sad
think
to
that was
think.
Newzoo, yeah.
Yeah, which is also sad because it's probably going to remain the biggest record pre-orders in history because if you look at how expensive gaming is getting, like I don't really see anything surpassing GTA 6, and then like who knows where the video game industry is going to be in.
Elder Scrolls.
No, Elder Scrolls ain't touching GTA 6. I'm sorry, Todd. As much as I believe in you, Elder Scrolls ain't especially if Elder Scrolls is exclusive. It's not
What
touching GTA 6 even if it wasn't, but I'm just saying, like, even if you like, oh, is the next GTA 6 10 years from now and it's 2036? What does the video game landscape look like even then? Is the video game landscape just for millionaires at that point because the system costs $2,500 to buy? Who really knows? Um,
Oh, man. Don't
but
put that energy into the universe,
I'm just
bro.
saying, like, what if a RAM stick costs like $5,000 in the future because of all the data centers and everything in AI? And like, you
Oh,
know,
man. Well, supposedly, some of these RAM companies are trying to ramp up production to bring costs down, supposedly, but we'll see how that works out in reality, right? But yeah, it's kind of interesting, the whole disc stuff. I mean, Sony's still getting cooked over it. We're still waiting to hear what Xbox's response is going to be. Like, I thought Positron was going to be announced this week. For those who don't know,
yeah, you
Positron
lied,
is.
bro. You lied.
Oh yeah, I lied, bro.
You said on the
Positron.
show last week, Positron was coming this week. Where is
Yeah, yeah,
Positron?
yeah, yeah. Hang
Where
on, I
is
got an
it?
update. Hang on, bear with
Okay.
me. God. So, so Positron, for those who don't know, is the code name for Xbox's supposed disc-to-digital program. Supposedly, be able to register your disc to a console, and then it becomes a digital license permanently, no strings attached, until you put it on another console, and then it moves to that Microsoft account, so on and so forth. Um, I expected that to be announced this week, but it seems like it could be next week. There you go.
You damn insiders with your leaks. If it's not this week, it's next week, and if it's not next week, it's the week after. And then
It's
after
gonna be
it
the
doesn't
week
come out,
after.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, guess what? Plans change, guys. Sorry, there's actually no disc to digital
Yeah,
program, and they canceled Positron. The life of an
plans
insider, ladies
change,
and
bro.
gentlemen. Plans change.
Plans, yeah, it's not my fault. Plans change, bro. You know, these things are complicated, and I guess plans just change, bro. I mean, what do you want me to say, bro?
Uh huh. Uh huh. I mean, I was so looking forward to putting my non-existent physical games into my Xbox Series X and turn them into digital licenses.
your physical dicks, turn them into digital dicks.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
have any physical games, but yeah.
You don't have any at all, even classic ones?
The last physical game I bought was Titanfall in 2014. I've been completely all digital since then. Been game sharing, so every single game I buy is half price, which is why like, people are like, "Oh my god, you're paying full price for games." Not me, buddy. Not me. I
Nope,
know how to
not
game the
me, buddy.
system. You know, you buy every other game. Hey, you buy this game, I'll buy this game. You buy that game, I buy this game. Half price, baby. What's better than that?
Yeah.
And
It
you
does
get
seem like, discs are not for long for this world either way. I think, a lot of people are wondering, like, will Xbox offer the alternative? Because they're looking at what Sony's going through right now. On every single YouTube video they put out, every single tweet, every single Instagram post, the comments are just non-stop people clowning on Sony for getting rid of discs. And, it's kind of funny because I think, like, it's all that stuff about this is how you game share on, PlayStation. All that shit's coming back to haunt them because they took that whole audience, the whole audience who wanted discs, didn't want DRM, they didn't want the Xbox's dreaded online check-in and all that stuff. They took that entire audience. So, like, a bunch of people who are like, I don't care because 'cause I'm all digital," or, "Actually, I do like this because I wanna share my digital games with 10 people," which was the proposed model of the Xbox 2013 thing. So Xbox ended up with a digital native audience for the most part. And I think we talked about this on a previous show where it was like, if Xbox had announced this, people would have been like, yeah, kind of was expecting Xbox to do that. Yeah. But Sony kind of cornered that market with its own hubris. And now they're getting cooked by it.
yeah, because
Kind of
you sent me the
some
YouTube
shade, right?
you sent me the YouTube video of the Wolverine,
Wolverine.
the new Wolverine cinematic,
Yeah.
which I said this when we watched it, like when I watched the gameplay of it the first time. The voice isn't doing it for me. Like Wolverine's voice, I don't particularly like it. We'll see how the full game plays out. And then I rolled my eyes when it became like, oh, he's in love with Jean again. Oh, are we doing one of these again? But either way, like I'm still really excited to play in September. I did see a report from somewhere that said like third parties are sort of upset with PlayStation because I think they pay for these tweets and these YouTube videos, to get traction from the PlayStation audience to go buy their games, but like all the tweets are ain't talking about the game. It's just talking about, hey Sony, I want my physical games, right? And
Yeah.
you sent me the Wolverine one, and you told me to read the comments. And I'm reading the comments, and I'm like, it's exactly as you would expect it to
Uh,
be. So
it's funny.
my question to you is, um, specifically Wolverine in this instance, because it's their first party game. Like I don't think this will affect Grand Theft Auto, any of the or any of the big games or
Oh, Grand
whatever.
Theft Auto doesn't have a physical
And
dicks.
yeah, and people didn't care. Well, I shouldn't say people didn't care. I'm sure some people did, but do you think this boycott? Do you think this will actually result in fewer copies of say Wolverine being sold, or will more people like say, "Hey, I'm going to show Sony and I'll buy it physically this time. Normally, I would have bought it digitally, so Sony gets less money, or I'll buy it secondhand, and so Sony doesn't get any money, or I'll pirate it if you can pirate it or whatever." But do you think any of this stuff like leads to potentially lower sales? Or and then I'm not talking about, oh well, Wolverine actually sold 100 less copies than they would have. I'm talking like a significant
A
financial
meaningful difference.
meaningful difference where it's like, hey, if this wasn't happen, Wolverine would have sold 8 million copies total, but because it happened, Wolverine only sold 5 million copies. What do you think?
I don't think it'll meaningfully impact sales personally. I think a lot of it's noise, and at the end of the day, people who love Wolverine are gonna buy that shit anyway, I think personally. But what I do think is, I think this might skew the sales towards physical, disproportionately, because I think the amount of the conversation around physical is so noisy right now that I do think it's probably gonna have a material impact on people's buying intent for this game. So I think this game might actually skew more physically than it typically would. I think it's still only gonna be a minuscule amount compared to the digital in sales. Because at the end of the day, most people don't really care, you know. But I do think more people probably picking this up physically than not, more so than before, maybe. But I don't think it's going to have any kind of material impact personally. I really, really don't. But hey ho, maybe the internet will prove me wrong.
Yeah, I guess we need to monitor that and see. But and kind of like
I think
adjacent,
what would materially impact it is if it's mid. If the game is not
sure.
good,
If the game's
then
not good, then
yeah,
obviously that'll have a big impact. But I'm expecting it to be good, and I'm expecting it to get good reviews. Insomniac, uh, they're pretty consistent when it comes to their games, and people do love Wolverine. Like you could argue he's outside of Spider-Man, he's the probably most well-known. He's definitely the most
more than
popular.
Batman.
I'm talking about
Come
I'm talking
on.
about Marvel. Like he's definitely
Oh,
the
okay.
most popular X-Men, and I would argue he's probably one of the most popular characters in all of Marvel. Like I don't know where like Iron Man rates now or Captain America after the movies and such, but there was a point in time like Wolverine was
Nobody
number
likes Captain
2
America, bro.
after
It's
Spider-Man,
all
but
about Captain Britain.
no,
What about Captain
it's
Britain?
not about Captain Britain.
Captain Britain? Captain
It's not
Britain?
about
Oh,
Captain Britain.
oh. Is there a there is a Captain Britain, right?
I think so, but I don't know. I don't know. Um,
There should be if there isn't.
there was this other thing I saw yesterday, which has to do with Sony-owned property God of War, which they're currently filming for Prime. Did you see this? What happened?
Yeah, the dude tore his pectoral tendon or something, and now
Yeah.
he's no longer gonna be able to do it.
So he tore. So they filmed 4 episodes. He like tore his bicep or something, and instead of waiting for him to come back and do the do it, like I guess it would have he would be out for until 2027. They're just recasting him, and they're gonna reshoot everything that they've shot with him with the new actor in it, which is kind of.
That's kind of mean, isn't it?
I mean,
How long does it? How does a torn bicep take a long time to heal? Let's ask
I think I
artificial
think it's like
intelligence.
6 months or something, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Well, if it's like that, then torn bicep healing time. Let's ask Cody Pilot. Good old Copilot. Torn bicep is usually 3 to 6 months to heal. Oh boy. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if it was going to be like 3 to 6 weeks, maybe you could say like, oh well, that's kind of mean. They're just using an excuse to recast him. But considering it's going to be like 3 to 6 months, kind of makes sense, I would guess. I I feel kind of bad for the guy, really. How's it?
Yeah,
Did he tear his bicep on set?
I guess it was a stunt during filming, and he tore his bicep or something, and it's like, okay,
Feel bad for the guy.
yeah, well now it's like so instead of waiting for him to get better, they're just gonna recast him and then reshoot everything, which is.
Yeah,
I mean, they do have a young actor playing Atreus, so I guess they sort of be like, we need to do this now because like he's
because he's gonna
clearly.
grow up.
I mean, everything here where he looks like this one way, and then like, oh, you could definitely tell these 2 shots were different points of time.
Or his balls drop midway through production or something, and then his voice changes.
Yeah, but then you
Oh,
sort
that
of
could change.
wonder like, oh, they picked him the first time, and
Oh
there
man.
was the outcry about like the image they put out where it was like, is that AI or is he in full costume? And it's like, oh, he doesn't really look good. And like you said, is it one of those things where it's like maybe they just wanted to recast him all along? So it's like, oh, he got injured, so we need to get somebody better. I don't know if that's the
Yeah,
case. I think
maybe.
it's just like they just didn't want to stop production because if you got to stop production for 6 months, that's a long time. It's
That's a
not
lot of
like
money.
yeah, it's not like oh we need to stop production for 2 weeks because he like stubbed his toe or some shit, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, and I suppose like if it was like Johnny Depp or something, they'd wait. But
Yeah, I sort of wonder if they're just why not just go with Christopher Judge who voices him in the game. Maybe he doesn't want to do it, or maybe he's not the right look for it or something. But I mean, he definitely would have the voice. So
is he tall enough? How tall is he?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because Kraus is like, dude's like 7 foot, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's
he's
like huge.
he's massive. He's
I would think
massive.
like get Batista on it, man. Mind you, Batista's lost all his muscle now.
Yes.
Who would you cast? Like chat. Jason Tegan in chat says Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa would be a good show, I think.
I think
Maybe?
maybe he's too well known and recognizable to be Kratos.
Really?
Where you would look at him and you
Really?
wouldn't see Kratos, you just see Jason Momoa. Every time I see Jason Momoa, I'm like, that's Jason Momoa. That's not said character. You know, that's just him. There's like some people that are like that, where you just look at him, it's like that's that's not Ethan
Well,
Hunt.
to be
That's
to be
Tom
fair,
Cruise. You know, like
there ain't many actors who, like, who can really pull that off, though, I think. Where it's like, you truly feel like they're a different person. Gary Oldman, like, sometimes, like, I see a character Gary Oldman's playing, it's like, "Hang on a sec, that's fucking Gary Oldman again." Dude transforms, man. And there's not many actors who do that. Like, you always know it's like Johnny Depp. Oh, it's Johnny Depp being Johnny Depp with a different costume. No? I don't know.
yeah,
Are we a movie podcast now? Doom Riffy. Oh, Doom Riffy had a great idea. How about Jack Black as Kratos? No, there you go. That is casting.
that is a brilliant idea. Biggest show ever. Jack Black as Kratos.
Uh Razor uh Razor says Tom Holland. Tom Holland. Tom Holland's
uh,
a bit Tom Holland could maybe play Atreus, I think. Or maybe not, he's getting on a bit now. Tom Holland's like got wrinkles and shit now.
have you
Bro's
seen
getting old.
the Odyssey reviews and the box office performance?
Got some glowing reviews, right?
I mean, critics love it. Seems audiences love it. Uh, it's like,
You gonna go and see it?
I mean, I'll see it when it comes out on digital. I'm not rushing to go. Like the actual nearest IMAX to me is like an hour away, and I'm not going to drive an hour away to go see it. But um, yeah, they made like
Yeah,
17
it's an
million
hour away
dollars
from me as well.
on Thursday, so it's going to be like, you know, it's going to be a massive film, but is also kind of
70 million?
it made 17 million on Thursdays, the
Oh,
Thursday preview, right? So they're expecting 100 over 100 million here in the states, and then like anywhere between 200 million and 250 million for worldwide, which would put it into like one of his biggest films that's not Batman. But there was the whole
right.
culture war thing aspect of the movie where people that didn't like it were like, this movie's gonna flop, and I'm just like, bro, you can't do that to Christopher Nolan. He's gonna it's not gonna work. And it's like, it didn't work.
Rip.
um it's
Ooh,
funny when we were
Vin
talking.
Diesel is Kratos.
Finn.
It
uh,
well,
eh,
it'd have to be prime Vin Diesel,
yeah.
maybe. Like, back in the day. 'Cause, Vin Diesel's getting on a bit now.
you know
I don't know.
I meant to bring this up when we were talking about the PlayStation stuff, because there's this whole digital future, which a lot of physical uh, lovers don't particularly like, because they always bring up the idea of like, you can lose everything. Like Microsoft or PlayStation could just rip those games right from underneath you without any a warning or whatever. Um, and then the story came out about this guy who got. What's the whole story about this guy who like lost his account of 25
Yes.
years? What's going on with that, Jez? Because this is kind of the scary part of the
Yes.
digital future, where if you do get locked out, or if they determine some shady stuff was going on with your account, and if you don't blow up in a viral way like this guy blew up in a viral way, then there is the chance where it's like you lose all your purchases, and he lost all his OneDrive stuff. So what happened with this, Jez?
Yeah, so, content creator from the Netherlands, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but we covered it on Windows Central. I replied to him, "Can I cover this?" And I think that helped drive it to go viral because I was the first person who replied to him. And my reply got like 800 likes and, that boosting the algorithm and whatever, so forth. And but the reason I wanted to cover it is because I've been hearing about this shit for months, right? And I've been investigating it for months and collecting information and data. And, like, when I speak to Microsoft about it, like, they'll tell me things like, "Oh, people say they haven't done anything wrong, but then we look into it and they have been doing things wrong. They've been hacking or they've been misusing OneDrive or something," right? So there's always that kind of like there's always this sort of level of reasonable doubt where it's like, "Oh, maybe they did deserve to get banned or whatever," right? But then this guy comes out, goes viral, says that he's got an email where they're like, "Yeah, we acknowledge that you were hacked, but there's nothing we can do about it. We recommend you make a new account." and then he goes viral. He's a content creator as well. So, and then Microsoft comes out and admits that they were wrong and that he was wrongfully banned and the account was wrongfully terminated and that they are going to fix his account, right? That is hugely problematic because it means that those like hundreds of other people who've been wrongfully banned, the only reason they haven't been able to get unbanned is because they haven't had accounts, they haven't had posts on social media that went viral. I think that's incredibly wrong. I think that's incredibly shady. And really, what it amounts to is Microsoft can't be bothered to pay for a support team to look into these hacks and these issues and help people recover their accounts. It's literally just the real reason is money. For them, it's out of scope. They can't be bothered to investigate it, and the customer support teams are too underfunded. So looks like he's getting his account back, and I've actually got a request for comment processing with Xbox support, Xbox PR about what they're going to do for others, because that thread was filled with dozens of people who've got similar emails, right? So I think what's probably going to happen is Microsoft's going to have to back down on this issue and start actually helping people. They'll probably set up a new program to get your account fixed and investigate things properly and yada yada yada. And hopefully we get to a point where this shit doesn't happen anymore. But it's like you said, this is like a big problem in the digital future. Like I've got so much stuff in my OneDrive, right? And if I get banned on Xbox Live for whatever reason, I lose all that shit, right? So it's always best to keep a backup locally. If you've got a NAS server, for example, back it up there, or an external drive, back it up there. But like my OneDrive's almost a terabyte, man. And if I wanted to download that entire OneDrive and back it up, it'd probably take like a week on my slow ass internet connection. So I don't know. It's
Yeah,
annoying, but it looks like fixes are coming. We'll see.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, the idea of like this guy was only able to get it done because his shit went viral doesn't really speak very highly of. I mean, there's one thing of like Microsoft fixing it, which is great, but then it's the other thing of, well, if you didn't go viral, you wouldn't have cared. You would just have swept it
Yeah,
under
you
the
would have been
rug,
screwed.
and
Yep.
nothing would have came out of it. And
It's not
that's
okay. It's not okay.
yeah, well, that's what people like argue with, the whole physical aspect of like your games and why they're worried about a digital future is because of shit specifically like this, where we want like more digital rights. It's not so much that like, well, for some people it is that physical games are going away, but it's also because we really don't have any digital rights.
Yeah.
So it's something
It's
that,
at their discretion.
yeah, but it's like, look, we're moving more and more towards digital. We should have more rights towards digital ownership. And I know people will say, well, it's just a license, and you know that when yeah, I get all that stuff, but like it's not really a nice way to treat a customer. And
Yep.
I don't know how often this happens where people lose their shit, and I'm sure there's people, I lost my stuff, and I'm sure it happens, but and I don't imagine like, what if it happened to me? What if it happened to you, Jez? At least you, if it happened to you, you could probably back channel it and get it
Yeah,
fixed,
I back channel stuff all the
just
time.
how you like how Colin back channeled when his PlayStation account got hacked or whatever, right? Where like you're a big enough
Yeah.
content creator, if you know people there, you might be able to back channel it and get. But not everybody's like that. Like I've actually gotten a whole bunch of messages being like, Rand, you know, I lost my account because of this. Can you help me? And I'm like, dude, I can't help you with anything. I'm sorry. Like as much as I would like to, uh, I can't. But hopefully, I don't know. My one hope about like the future is like I hopefully like when PlayStation reveals the PS6, they talk more about if they're really truly getting rid of physical and they don't backtrack. Is like, okay, this is how we treat digital games and digital ownership and stuff, and we are doing X, Y, and Z. And I would like Microsoft to, you know, also like kind of delve more into that and being like, uh maybe give some more of like the things that they were going to do from 2013 and implement them better, where we get more kind of control over that stuff in the future.
And
um
this is one area where Steam just bodies PlayStation and Xbox. Like if you've got an issue on Steam, the customer support is just great. Like I broke I had a Steam. I had my Steam Deck and one of the first generation Steam Decks, and I can't remember what was wrong with it, but I think I had this bug where it just all the wireless networking stopped working. So Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all the wireless signals stopped working on it. And apparently, this was like a common defect with like the first batch of Steam Decks that came out. They replaced it, no questions asked. Didn't have to do anything. They were just like, "Yep, we'll send you a box, send the old one back, and here's a new one." No questions asked. Simple as hell. Now, if you want to do that with Xbox these days, you have to like, put the serial number in, because it's not mapped to your account by default, where it really should be. And then you have to send it off to a third party these days. Because back in the day, Microsoft had its own repair centers, at least in Europe, but now they don't. There's like a third party. And then for a lot of the older stuff, like for example, at least in Europe, the Elite controller, they won't even service that anymore. You just have to get a new one. So it's like you shit out of luck if you break a bumper or something, or the battery goes flat. I don't know. Xbox is Microsoft in general, not just Xbox, but Microsoft in general is really underfunded its customer service support. I remember the first time I bought Surface, and Microsoft was first getting into retail and hardware and stuff beyond Xbox. Like they were starting to make laptops. Microsoft had really good customer service too. Like Surface used to have really good customer service, and I had issues with the Surface Pen. They replaced it, no issues. And now it's just like they've laid them all off. They've outsourced what little there is left is outsourced either to like countries that don't have English as a native language, or artificial intelligence, neither of which provides a good experience. Like Blizzard as well. Blizzard's the same way. Blizzard used to have legendary customer service, and over the years, it's just gotten worse and smaller and smaller, and more of it's automated and handled with artificial intelligence. And yeah, I don't know. It's one way they've started, just to nickel and dime people, I guess. Shrinkflation. Like chocolate bars and shit have gotten smaller over the years.
Yeah, and they put
It's like
like
that.
less chips in a Doritos bag and all that stuff. It's like more full with air. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I bought some hair cream not long ago. And the tub's the same size, but there's like half as much cream in the tub. So you open the tub and it's like, where's the
And
rest of it?
but it costs twice as much now.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, that shit's so horrible. Shit's so bad.
Yeah, and
Um,
GNTL Stone in chat says, a guy in Brazil just won a case against Microsoft for this same issue.
I
Yeah,
did
like
see that. Yeah,
yeah. So a guy in Brazil was also banned on Xbox Live. Um for the same thing. He was hacked, and then Xbox was like, "Oh, sorry, we can't help you with this because we can't verify if you're the account owner or whatever. So GG, you've got to start a new account." Um, and he took them to court and won. And Microsoft has to reinstate his account and pay him £400 for his trouble. And if they don't do it, the fine doubles every day or something like that.
400
So
pounds.
400 uh
Oh,
dollaroos, Brazilian dollars. I don't know. It's 400 something.
it's weird because
400
I wonder if he spent more.
400 credits.
I wonder if he spent more taking him to court than he did getting back his stuff. But sometimes it's about the principle, not the money, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've sent I've sent a message to the UK CMA and also European Commission about what they would do in this situation, because there's a lot of European, citizens being affected by this too. And it'd be interesting to see if they even bother replying, I suppose. But they are looking into this digital stuff a lot more now. There was that whole "Stop Killing Games" movement, which the European Parliament actually debated. They eventually came back and was like, "Nah, we can't do anything about this." But I feel like this is different. Like, there's literally no reason why someone should lose access to their account because they got hacked beyond Microsoft nickel and diming people. So something's got to change on that front, and we'll see what happens.
You know what needs to change? Canada.
Canada?
Canada.
Why?
They're screwing up my
What's
air,
Canada do?
bro.
Oh yeah, I've read about this. Isn't
Dude,
Canada on fire or something?
yeah, there's like fires and I literally woke up like went into the kitchen, looked out the window, and it was like you could see a haze. You could see like a fog, but not like a real fog. It was like, okay, what's this? And then like open my phone up and it's like my phone's telling me that like it's hazardous outside. The air quality is hazardous. Not only is it like 95 degrees here in Chicago, which is, pretty damn hot, so you got the air conditioning on all the time, right? But also it's telling me like you go outside for like a few minutes, it's basically like smoking two cigarettes. Like the air quality's bad. So like I did order something, so when I did open up the door to grab it, oh yeah, like you could smell it. I was like, it's like, man, this is.
I actually think you deserve that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think you deserve that.
But it's like,
'Cause
we're decent. We're decent. I guess we're one state away from Canada, considering Wisconsin's above us. But it's not like we're right on the border. But like, holy crap! I can imagine like the further north you go, the worse it would get. Um, but
till
yeah,
it's just Silent Hill
until it's just Silent Hill, and then you got to wear masks to go outside. So thank you, Canada, for the fires that are going.
for
So
being on fire.
what's going on there? Some forests are on fire. Is that what's happening?
No, it's actually Silent Hill. Silent Hill
Oh,
is
oh,
taken
Silent
over
Hill.
Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the Silent Hill curse has taken over Canada, and it's gradually spreading south to America. So soon you're gonna start seeing like zombies and weird, you know, weird limbed freaks popping up in Chicago because Canada's full of that shit right now. It's apocalyptic, bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, for
No, it's wildfires, of
yeah, it's the
course, it's
wildfire. Okay,
wildfire.
okay. Um, last week was all about the Xbox recess, so we didn't really talk about what we've been playing. So, just for those that are wondering, um, I have been playing Halo Campaign Evolved. I'm sure, Jez, I think you're playing as well, right?
Indeed, I'm playing Highlight Campaign Evolved. Are we allowed to even talk about it?
Oh, we're not going to talk about it. We can just mention that we're playing it, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
no, we're
we're part
definitely,
of the early access program, so I
yeah,
suppose we'll talk about it more when it
next week's
launches, I
show, I
guess.
think, right? Because it launches next week, early access. Um,
Something like that. Yeah.
I've also, have you been playing? I see this is on your activity. Have you been playing Buckshot Roulette?
Yes,
What do you
roulette.
think about
Yeah,
that? So
yeah.
what is that? People tell me it's like, I don't know. Was it a game that like got big on Steam or something? Or am I like misinformed on
Yeah.
this?
No, 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 you're right. It's a bookshop roulette. It's kind of like it's like it was a very popular Steam stream kind of game. Streamers were playing it. It's a bit like violent noughts and crosses, really. It's the best way to describe it. So it's like you kind of have to you're kind of gambling. You're betting against the dealer and taking it in turns to shoot each other with a shotgun. You know, some of the bullets are slugs and some of them are blanks. And you can kind of like there's like modifiers you can throw into the game to you can take a double turn, for example. You can heal yourself with items. And it's kind of like the strategic counterplay, like, okay, when should I use these items? How do I give myself the best chances of winning this thing? Because sometimes you just don't know if the next bullet's going to be a blank or a slug, right? So, or bookshot, I suppose. So, yeah, it's interesting, and also there's like as you progress through, there's like these little kind of creepy lore hints about what's actually happening. Dropping through creepy game. It's super cheap. I think it's like $2 to buy, but yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. I enjoyed it.
I'm
Not a
su-
very long game,
I'm surprised you're
but
not playing Pal World. It hit its 1.0. It's blowing up on
you
Steam
know,
again.
dude, I am also surprised for multiple reasons. First of all, I bought server for the Xbox 2 Discord.
Okay.
So there is currently if you are interested, there's a Pal World server we're running in the Xbox 2 Discord. There's a limited amount of slots, but if you are, you want to check it out or jump in, information's on the Discord. And but yeah, I bought that server with the intentions of playing it, but I just haven't been playing it for some reason. I mean, first of all, I got the Halo campaign involved, so I really want to play that for content, but also you know, just because it's nostalgic, right? I've always said I'm not the biggest Halo fan in the world, but this I played it to death. Like I played the original Legendary multiple
Some would
times.
say you're a Halo hater.
Yeah, some would say it's weird though, because it's like the bar for what constitutes a Halo fan seems really high. Like I've played every single Halo game. I've played at least Halo 1 and 2 on Legendary multiple times. And I played that through Halo Wars 1 and 2. I loved Halo Wars 2 and put a ton of time into that. I played that on stream a lot. But I feel like unless you've read the books, unless you've like, know all the lore inside out and backwards, and unless you like watch all the extra stuff and watch a TV show, or well, maybe not the TV show, but all the transmedia stuff they've done over the years, unless you're a Halo fan to that degree, it feels like you're not allowed to say that you're a Halo fan. People say like, "Oh, you're a tourist." Okay, name every species in the Halo canon. That kind of thing. So I feel like I'm not allowed to say I'm a Halo fan because I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell my let go lows from my Sanghili. That kind of. Well, I can, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I've been playing a bunch of Halo, but that kind of put me in a first person shooter mood, and also all the stuff with id going on put me in a first person shooter mood. So I went back to doing the Dark Ages because I want to do the DLC, and I've been playing that pretty religiously on not the hardest difficulty, but the one below hardest difficulty, and I've been having an absolute blast, man. It's funny because like the last week I was talking about how like I didn't like doing the Dark Ages that as much because the stupid dragon, which I still don't like by the way, and also I didn't like how so much of it's color coded and kind of it's less about just wanton violence and it's more like it wants you to use a bit of finesse, right? But I've actually found myself like as I've gotten further into it, like really vibing with the gameplay now after actually giving it a proper try, playing it on a harder difficulty because I was only playing on normal before. So now I like put the difficulty up and now I've just been having a blast with it, man. I've been doing all the secrets, 100% in the levels, playing on the Xbox Ally where it runs absolutely amazingly well, by the way. Um, yeah, so I genuinely feel like doing the Dark Age is just it gets better the more you play it, and the more upgrades you get, the more weapons you get, and it's just I've ended up thinking like it's might be one of my favorite Dooms now after bitching about it last week. So that's kind of what I've been playing. I I think I talked about this before, but I've also been playing Signalis. Did I talk about that already?
You mentioned it. Yeah, you mentioned it.
Yeah, Signalis 2, fantastic game. If you like horror, definitely check out Signalis. Like old school Silent Hill, Resident Evil. Signalis is amazing. So I've been going through that too. So that's kind of what I've been playing. That's what I've been playing, bro.
Yeah, I'm like 22 hours deep in Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Thanks to Ubisoft for sending over a code. I wasn't sure I
I
was
downloaded
even
that too.
gonna play it, so I decided to play it. Uh, and like I think I talked about that before. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna play, but for whatever reason, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna play this game, and I'm like, I'll play Doom Revelations DLC after I play Halo, and after I do this, and I'll play Lego Batman and stuff. I gotta say, like, I've forgotten how fun this Assassin's Creed is, especially the ship to ship combat. Like the ship to ship combat
Yeah,
is
it's
kind of
great, man.
what separates this game from a lot of the other Assassin's Creeds. Like when people rate which ones are their favorite, uh,
Didn't Valhalla have that though? Or am I misremembering?
I didn't really play Valhalla, but I think it did.
Uh,
Well, maybe not to
yeah.
the full extent that this one is, because I know Odyssey you also had it as well, because you're mostly around the Greek islands and stuff. And it was in Assassin's Creed 3 for a little bit, and then they kind of blew it up. But like the ship combat's so good, like you don't. I kind of remember like, oh yeah, this is the reason why they decided to make that pirate game that took forever to come out. You remember the Skull and Bones, right?
The quadruple A game, you mean?
The game that was gonna kill Rare, or not Rare, but kill Sea of Thieves when it was announced. So I've
They're
been playing
still
it.
updating that, by the way, I
I know,
think.
right? Which is crazy. Which is crazy to think, considering I don't really think anybody's playing Skull and Bones or For Honor at this point in time, but they still keep them up. Man, the game.
I do respect that about Ubisoft. The
Yes,
fact that they kept like Skull and Bones and For Honor going,
but
like
it's
with
funny because
small
they
user
they
bases.
they canceled or they got rid of X Defiant pretty quickly.
Yeah,
So
that is weird.
it does make you wonder. I don't know, but I will say, man, the game's
Maybe they're
gorgeous.
just really cheap to run because, like, maybe they're just I don't know, peer to peer or something. I don't know.
The game's absolutely gorgeous though. Like this is definitely like remake territory because there is a lot of stuff here that is new. They've added a lot of new things, and luckily for me, I haven't played this game since 2014. So a lot of the stuff I don't even remember. You know, it's just like,
You make me
oh,
want to play it.
it's a lot of fun. Um, the combat the combat's kind of like okay, you attack and you can parry, and then like when you parry, you can do like a takedown where you take down that person, and depending on the weapons that you have, like you can do like you can chain up to like 4 takedowns. So like what I normally do if I'm not like walking around stealth and killing people is like if I have to get in combat, I just wait for them to attack me and I parry, and then I just instantly kill 4 people instead of kind of going like because I sort of feel like the actual combat is a bit clunky. It's better than Mirage's, but it's not saying much. Thank God that you can do the chain takedowns, right? And like you can different weapons that have different abilities. Like oh, if you have this weapon, you can parrying's easier. If this one, you can parry unblockable attacks and stuff. And they have all that stuff for all the different sort of your guns and stuff. But it's I don't know, man. Like it's really cool when you got your ship and you're just sailing, and then like your sailors pick up the tune. And they're singing a sea shanty. Um, yeah, like it's just a lot of fun. Although I am, I
They
mean, I'm
announced, they just announced 3
yeah,
million
3 million
sales.
sales, 3 million sales. Although
Um,
I can sort of feel
Everyone
myself.
hates Ubisoft, and I just want to say this: everyone hates Ubisoft, and I've clowned on Ubisoft a lot in this show, but I'm kind of happy for them here. I want them to succeed. I'm kind of rooting for them now. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a remake, and I know people are fed up with remakes, but it sounds like it's a good remake. A lot of
Yeah,
remakes we get these
it's a
days are
good
like
remake.
not
There's
great.
actually new content they put in here. Like there's some like riff stuff that's definitely not in the original game. There's some different ways you can do quests that definitely weren't in the main game. You get some things a little bit earlier. Like I just did the thing with the diving bell where I remember originally like you just bought it. But now there's like an extra way if you don't have the money that you can actually go through it if you talk to Adewale. It's like a remake in the same manner of like Dead Space where you know it's beautiful
Hmm.
looking, it plays great, it's really keeps to the spirit of it, but then there's new stuff. There's some really cool new stuff that you can you know, and it doesn't have all the if you're not a fan of the RPG Assassin's Creeds, which kind of came with Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla, this is very much your, you know, tried and true OG Assassin's Creeds. Like outside of boss fights, none of the enemies have health bars. Like you can instantly like assassinate all of them and stuff. And there's like no and there's stats on the weapons, but they're sort of meaningless. Like you start with the sword that has like 12 damage and you get a sword that's like 28, but realistically when you're using it, I didn't really notice like any significant jump where like, oh, I'm killing enemies faster than I was before. Um but yeah, it just made me remember how much I did enjoy this game back then, like the freedom of, you know, going to island, uh,
Dude,
getting getting into like really cool ship
yeah.
battles and stuff because the ship stuff is probably the best stuff in the game. Like the combat has always been sort of hit or miss in these games, and the story in this one maybe is not like the best. Because my favorite Assassin's Creed is the second one. Like I really like the Ezio trilogy. So
The
Assassin's
Ezio
Creed 2,
trilogy's
Brotherhood,
legendary,
and
man. Yeah,
Revelations, but I still really like this
same.
game. And I mean, Ubisoft pulled it off here. Like, I really quite like it. Now, of course, I'm saying this at like 22 hours in, and you know me, I like to do everything. I'm already sort of kind of had it with the combat, so I just kind of do the parry takedown stuff. But I kind of want to go visit everywhere and sort of do everything. So I don't know how I'll feel after 50 or 60 hours because there's still a lot of content to do. But I mean, it's a damn fun game. So I'm having a good time right now with it.
You're making me wanna play it, bro. You're making me wanna play it.
You should load it up just to see it, like because a lot of those Assassin's Creeds, really, like, their colors were more like muted, right? Kind of like, because they're based in cities, so that depending on where you were, it's kind of like a yellow or grayish thing. This is set in like the tropics, so everything is like bright green, a red, or like a really deep blue. So it really like stands out and uses the OLED, or if you have a really great monitor, it really pops on screen because of the color palette that it decides to use in comparison to just the other games, right? Because the other games are just set in a desert, right? Like, desert's really not like that visually pleasing to look at, or set in like the streets of Rome, and it's like, just a bunch of buildings. But this one's like, it's got the jungles, it's got this, like they added like all the, like you can swim underwater, where before I think it was you could only do it with the diving bell in certain spots. Now you can go underwater everywhere. Like, you're not just limited to certain aspects, and like it's got the coral reefs and the fish. It's a very, very beautiful game, Jez. Very beautiful game.
Can you fish in it?
I don't think you can. No, but
You
you can
can
play.
you
But
can
you can.
whale in it though, right?
Yes, you
You can
can.
get whales. That's
Yeah,
kind of fishing.
I killed a hammerhead shark. I killed a great white shark. I killed
Oh,
a
that's just
humpback
me.
whale.
What?
And it's weird because you go
I'll kill a
around.
humpback whale.
Well, you use them to upgrade yourself so you can carry more bullets
I
for
think
your
it's illegal to
guns.
kill a humpback whale, bro.
Well, maybe now it is, but back then it wasn't. And then like you get
Yeah.
all the money, you upgrade your ship, which costs us a lot of stuff, and it's just a really fun time. I think it's really good. I am glad I decided to play because I wasn't sure if I was, because like, oh, Halo's coming up and I want to play Doom, but like, I'm gonna start this and play this.
I
I
play.
have seen a lot of praise for this new indie game that came out, which kind of looks interesting. I'm probably gonna say it wrong, but it's like
Dench
Dan,
attack.
Dan, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, have you tried it out?
Yeah.
I think it's on Game Pass, right?
I haven't. Yeah, it's on Game Pass. I haven't tried it out. It's like a skating game, kind of, is
Yeah, it
it?
kind of like looks like a crazy anime Tony Hawk on a train. You're like a train and you're doing like skateboarding stuff. It looks ridiculous, but it looks also kind of fun.
Yeah, I haven't tried it myself, but dude, this once again, July was supposed to be a slow month. It's supposed to be a slow month because August and September, like, there's a lot of heavy users coming out. But
Well,
I feel
what's
like
coming?
it's
What's
not
coming
a
out in
slow month.
August? Because I don't think there's a lot in August. You'd have to
Um,
refresh my memory.
I
September,
don't
yeah,
know.
September's absolutely packed to the gills. But I don't think there's a
Maybe
lot
August
coming
isn't
out in
that bad then.
August.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but September's packed to the gills, and I feel like there's just too much stuff I want to play. And also, the Xbox Ultimate sale was popping off this week, and I've
What'd you buy?
spent like
What have you bought? What have you
I,
bought? Tell me.
I bought a ton of money. I
You
bought a
you
ton of
bought a
stuff.
ton. I wish I could buy a ton of
I bought
money.
No, I
I'm
didn't buy a ton
buying.
of money. I'm not.
Okay, what you
No,
get?
let's open my email and have a look. Right. So I bought a game called Void Rot, which looks good. And that was £5. I bought Painkiller Remake. That was £7. I bought Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. That
Which you're
was 18
which you're
quid.
never gonna play. So yeah, I get
I'll
it.
play it. I'll play
You
it.
yeah.
I bought
Sure, sure, sure.
I bought the Wolong Fallen Dynasty season pass
Chat, is
because that
Jez
was
gonna play
super
this
cheap.
Final Fantasy game? Because I don't think he will.
I will. I'll play it, bro. I bought Wolong season pass because I haven't played that. I bought a game called The Invincible purely because the next game from that dev team looks really good, and I thought, okay, well, I'll pick up The Invincible then. Some like sci-fi kind of narrative game. And then I also bought Against the Storm Complete Edition, which is kind of like They Are Billions strategy game. I thought that looked pretty cool. So yeah, I've spent a lot of money on the store so far, and I'll probably spend even more when I look at it again later. It's been a good sale. The whole Resident Evil franchise is on sale. I saw all the Final Fantasy games are on sale. There's a ton of other like random indie gems on sale. It's been a pretty good sale, man. I do say. And again, it's one of them. Like, I'll buy all these games and then probably not play them. That's the meme, isn't it? Zach Riley, Rand, gave us an update on what's coming out in
August.
August.
Okay.
We got Beast of Reincarnation,
I don't care about that.
Madden,
Well, I
Madden.
mean, Madden has, or is it Madden that has the
You're a
the?
big Madden guy, aren't you?
Well, hold on. Well, go ahead and read the list. We'll come back to Madden. Go ahead, read the list.
Okay, so Sinking City 2,
Okay.
which I thought genuinely looks good. So Sinking City 1 was more of a narrative game, I think, but Sinking City 2 looks like it's like they're trying to be more of a genuine survival horror game now. So Sinking City 2 looks really good. Mortal Shell 2 is coming out as well. I played
Oh
Mortal
yeah.
Shell 2 demo. Absolutely amazing, honestly. So, if you like Souls-likes games, that's probably in your radar. You got Metal Gear Solid Collection 2
Oh
with
yes. Yes, I've
Metal Gear
forgotten about
Solid
that.
4
Yes, because
for
I've
the
never I've
first
never
time.
played 4. I've never played 4. So
Oh, you haven't played 4.
I don't
Oh
know
my god.
anything about 4, bro.
You're in
I don't know
Oh my
anything
god,
about it.
dude. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, right? 4 is kind of controversial, but I think you will love it. I think you
Get
will
it for me,
fucking
bro.
love 4.
Get it for me as a gift, bro.
I will. I genuinely will. If I can, I will get it for you. Because I want you to play 4, because I swear to God, 4 made me cry twice.
Mm.
That game
Maybe
that game is that
maybe
game Kojims so hard.
Oh, dude,
That game Kojims
Kajeem's.
so hard.
Whew.
It Kojims so hard, bro. And also Star Wars Zero Company, which is a game I'm very, very,
You're
very
interested in that.
excited about.
That's not a Rand game, but yes.
Yeah.
Is that it?
There's a lot of games coming out. I mean, there's probably even more, but
Right. Back to Madden. Now, is it Madden or is it college football that's had the controversy, as you would say?
it was college football. I
Okay, so
saw this.
I don't really pay much attention to the sports space. Like, I don't know what's going on in 2K or Madden or any of that stuff. What the hell went on with college football? People were saying that like originally, like during campaigns, like EA would the prompt would show up that you'd have to like pay money to continue. Like, so do you know what happened with this?
I don't know exactly what it was. Someone in chat might say, but from what I can gather is they went too hard with the microtransactions.
Mm,
They did a Battlefront 2 basically. And like I would say sports people who play sports games are a little bit more tolerant, I feel, of microtransactions because they're used to getting screwed, to be honest. You look at 2K games, you look at FIFA Ultimate Team, or well, EA Sports FC Ultimate Team, I suppose it's called now, but all those games are they've been predatory for a long time, but EA somehow managed to even piss off sports players with whatever they did, college football, and then EA had to come out with like a "We're sorry, we hear you,
uh,
we're gonna backtrack" kind of thing. So
but
that's
then
kind of
apparently they didn't backtrack or something. I don't know. I don't really know much about
I
the
don't I
sports
don't know
stuff.
much about it.
I just know that
I don't know.
people are angry about whatever happened in college football game. But maybe somebody in chat knows what happened, and they'll enlighten
Um,
us because I don't know.
Someone in chat says they'll donate $100 if I finish Persona 5.
Not worth it. Make it a
Is it not
thousand
worth it?
dollars.
I don't know. I might do it. I might do it, bro. I might do it.
Mm.
I put I've got like this sunk cost fallacy feeling with Persona. I put 50 hours in. I kind of feel like should I maybe finish it? And also I really wanted to bang the teacher. But
Jez.
Persona 5's look, Persona 5's a bit problematic, bro. The game has data. I didn't know this, right? But the game has data mechanics. You can actually date the characters, right? You can date the characters, and one of the options for your character to date is literally the teacher, and your character's supposed to be like a student. That's I don't know, man. I think that teacher might be like probably should be in prison, bro. But we're gonna say I kind of morbidly curious. I'm gonna date the teacher, bro. I'm gonna date the teacher, bro. No one could stop me dating the teacher, bro. What?
I mean, okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll take your word
In
for it.
Persona.
Right.
Persona, you can date your
I
teacher.
don't know what the teacher looks like. I
I
don't know.
it doesn't matter what she looks like, bro.
You think it's problematic that you could date the teacher? I mean, I guess.
I mean,
How old are students? Are they 12 or
a
something?
student like they're like 16 or something. I don't know.
Mm,
Even if they're not, even if they're like 18, it's still ethically dubious. The teacher is in a position of power over the student, bro.
mm, okay, okay.
Oh my god. The te-
Um,
chat has opinions about this.
I'm sure they do. A lot of people love Persona 5. They're probably like, I banged that teacher. I didn't care.
Um J2042 says date the teacher and max out her benefits are top tier. So yeah, if you bang the teacher, you get stat bonuses, bro.
Oh well, I mean, then
So
you got to bang her. Come on, come on.
the game encourages this shit, bro. The volleyball coach was definitely banging his students. Man, Persona 5 is a messed up game. It's like the more I play it, the more like I learn about it, the more I'm starting to think, bro, this game's kind of messed up, bro. It's a bit messed up, bro. Maybe.
Jumping away from that, um, I believe there was some Halo stuff that
Rand's
happened
been
this week.
demonetized.
You wrote some articles about some Halo stuff that was going on. Enlighten us. What's
Oh, I did,
some
yeah.
leadership issues, some things happening in Halo Studios that may not be the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, it's always I've never really written articles about this kind of thing where it's like, because there's always two sides to a story, right? And Rebs Gaming put out a report that was talking about Peter Hintze. I don't know if I pronounced his name right, but Pierre Hintze, sorry, and he's the game director of Halo and the studio director for Halo Studios and stuff. And he put out a report that was kind of like alleging bullying, toxicity in the workplace, and this kind of stuff, right? So I decided to speak to some of my sources because I definitely think that Rebs Gaming has like real genuine sources, right? Some of the stuff he's put out there is absolutely true. For example, his report on Halo's Project Echo, which is Project Echo is was a multiplayer Halo game that has now been cancelled, and I confirmed that that was real, which kind of made me want to investigate some of the other things that I reported about, right? So yeah, so I reached out to a few people who were current at Halo Studios, people who are former 343 Industries and that kind of thing, to learn if like, you know, what kind of things Rebs Gaming was saying was like true or not. And it really did seem like I was like Pierre does seem to rub people up the wrong way. It does seem like a lot of people don't like his management style, but at the same time, there were people who were just kind of like mitigating for him and being like, well, you know, um, he's really passionate about the project and that kind of stuff, and that's kind of like where he gets mad about things. But at the same time, they were saying like he might be kind of out of his depth and he might lack the people skills to keep everyone on the same page. It genuinely feels like Halo Studios like is a difficult place to work, where people are sort of at each other's throats a lot. And I think part of it might be like the way employment law works in Washington, where they use a lot of suppose contractors, and maybe it's difficult for them to build up like a camaraderie and stuff. But Glenn Israel, who used to be the art director at Halo Studios, he alleges that not just Pierre, but like the management layer at like 343 and beyond, they kind of operate this sort of program of retaliation and industry blacklisting, which is illegal under Washington employment law, where it's like basically they don't personally like someone or something, they blacklist them or something like that. And people who speak out tend to get fired during these layoff waves, like in a retaliatory way. So like when Microsoft does their layoffs, they'll try and lay off people who spoke out about being treated badly and things like that. But it's really difficult because there's always two sides to every story. You don't know like what's real, what's like sensitivities maybe, or maybe just bickering and you know, or whether there's like actually serious problems there, right? So without actually having like a CCTV camera in Halo Studios, I doubt we'll ever really know what the true full story is, but it does sound like it's not a particularly fun place to work. It sounds like there's a lot of pressure on Pierre and the
Well,
team
it sounds
to
like
deliver.
to me
And yeah, I don't know.
that Halo Studios has had management problems for years at this point. Not specifically about Pierre, but I mean, people complained, when Bonnie was in charge, or I forget the other person who was under Bonnie, but it seems like there was
Kiki,
always some
Chris Matthews, Chris
I
Lee.
Chris Lee, right?
Yeah, maybe.
That there was always management issues, which it partially goes to like the idea of that Xbox has completely mismanaged Halo and the Halo IP. I mean, ever really since Bungie left. I saw a post. It was like, that 343 has had ownership of Halo longer than Bungie did, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm old. I'm like, oh my god, that's awful. It's like, oh boy. But it almost sort of seems in a weird twist of fate, a sad twist of fate, that Halo Studios will probably outlive Bungie. Because it doesn't look good for good old Bunjo at this point. I don't know if you saw the game director Marathon
Marathon.
left.
Game
Um,
director Marathon left, and Marathon's got like 5,000 concurrents.
yeah, I mean, I think
Oh
I don't
man,
know if there's a
terrible.
like layoffs still layoffs to happen at Bungie, which is whatever. But it's like, I don't know. And they got a PVE mode that they're starting mid-season, and then a full PVE mode starting like season 3. And that really seems to be their way to potentially get players back. But I feel like nobody's going to spend $40 for
Mm.
that. So I feel like got to make the game free to play if you want any sort of chance to get any sort of user base. And then the funny thing about it is, like, these games make their money with microtransactions, Jez. And you know how much I played Marathon and how much I've talked about Marathon on the show and how much I really loved my time with Marathon. Their skins were awful. Like, the skins that they were selling, like, there was maybe one or two that were actually really cool. But at no point did I ever feel like I wanted to spend any money. And I sort of
Mm.
don't get it. Like, I don't get this. Like, we can all bicker about, like, Call of Duty, like, adding, skins that kind of clash with the tone of the game. Like, when they added, like, Peter Griffin or whatever, right? And, but, like, people want to play as Peter Griffin, like, because it's a part of their, and that's part of the appeal of, like,
It's
Fortnite.
memey.
Right, yeah, it's like Fortnite is built around this idea of playing of your
It's
favorite
vibes.
character from everywhere. So like when you play something like Marathon, and it's just like you have all this like cool like visual stuff you could potentially do because you're not really held back by anything, but none of it's really interesting, and you only release like one skin a week. It's kind of like, what are we doing here? I don't know if that would have to change with it being free to play, considering then it's all about that. But like, their offerings weren't good, period. And I don't know how they're gonna fix that. Like, I sort of feel like we're just slowly watching
Mm.
like the end of Bungie get closer and closer and closer. You know,
Man, makes me
but
sad. Makes me
yeah,
sad, bro.
it does. Makes me sad to see Halo mismanaged. Makes me sad to see Bungie potentially wither and die in the vine. Um, what else here? Oh, I wanted to touch with this one, Jez. Um,
Maybe we should do super chats
oh
before
yeah,
that.
okay, yeah, good idea.
They're
Let me
getting backed up, bro.
all right. Let me get some of these. Um, we got Pat Rock, who says they should pay Don Matrick to say, if you want a new Fallout on PlayStation, we have a product for you. It's called Fallout 76. Pat, I love you, but you have a weird fascination with Don Matrick. Like, I get it, that would be funny, but like, I want Don Matrick nowhere near anything Xbox related, please.
I
Uh,
just bought
crypto
another game in the sale.
Crypto Cody says, shout out to X-Men 97 season 2. I haven't watched it yet. I'm waiting for the whole season to come available, and then I will. I haven't been spoiled, so I don't know what's happened in it yet. I know like episode 5 of season 1 was incredible, so I can't wait to jump into that.
What platform is it on? I kind of want to watch it.
Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, of course.
Uh,
Do I have Disney anymore? I think I might have cancelled Disney.
you
I
might
don't know.
have. Andy
Is it?
Ackerman says, "Did we talk about physical dicks yet?" We did. That was sort of towards the beginning of the show. We talked about it at length. So you can get
I
all
think
your
there's a Patreon Q&A about it as well, so we'll
yeah.
probably revisit it in a bit.
Teddy P says, Smokey Bear here. Only you can prevent wildfires. It's true. And we also have Sauce Madragon says, Jez, you need to buy Rand some boxing gloves for Christmas, just in case his bookshelves try to come on his face in the middle of the night again. He can put on the gloves and show that bookcase who's boss. Really?
Oh, what was that now? Uh,
I don't even,
you said something about you said something on the other show about a bookcase coming down on you or something like that. I can't
so
remember.
I have like a shelf in my room that runs the top. It runs the entire like length of the room, but it's like at the very top, right? In between like where the ceiling is, and so you can put a whole bunch of books. It's not like a bookshelf. It's just kind of like a shelf that runs the length of my entire room. And I put a bunch of books up there that I finish. And then one day while I was sleeping, I heard like a big crash and I wake up and that shelf like fell off the wall and basically was sliding right into my face and dropping all the books everywhere. You know,
Unfortunate.
unfortunate, yes, unfortunate.
Oh man, that was
So,
funny. You deserve that.
Jez, do you think I don't know, I had a couple people ask me this about the people putting out analyst projections of how much Helix is going to sell year 1. Do you think it's a bit early for that? Cuz I like
Yeah.
I know we can speculate, right? And I don't particularly think Helix is going to sell that great, considering I think we all think it's going to be expensive. So I think it'll sell way less than what the Series X and S did. But I
Mm,
also don't know anything about Helix, and that's the other thing here. Like I get like analysts or whatever, maybe they're asked this question, but there's analysts that said like, oh, Helix is only going to sell 2 million because of XYZ reasons, right? But like we don't know anything about Helix. We don't know when it's launching. We don't know if it's next year or the year after. We don't know, I mean, for starters, if it has a disk drive. We don't know if that whole idea of being able to play your PC games from like Steam or anywhere else was even going to work on it. Like we assumed it would under Phil. That may have changed under Asha. Like sure, your Xbox PC games will probably be able to run, but we're not sure about like Steam or anything. We don't know the price of the
mm,
thing. We don't know when it's coming. So I sort of feel like uh, maybe hold off on those predictions when we sort of know more about the device and what it's going to do and who's it's positioned towards and what its price will be in the market compared to other sort of things. Like I sort of feel like saying like, oh, to sell 2 million, it's like, well, it's definitely not going to sell the 7 million that the Series X did. So like, yeah, you can say it's going to sell less than that, you know. But I sort of
mm.
feel like I don't know. Some people jumping the gun here. I'm not even saying like the person is going to be wrong either, because I do.
They're paid. They're paid to predict.
Yeah. Is this like my is this like oh God, I can't remember this guy's name now. Michael God, what's his last name? I met him at E3 and I really
Michael
like the
Bay.
guy. Not Michael Bay. The guy who's like whenever he says something you can always take the opposite. The opposite's always going to happen.
Pacta.
Michael Pachter. I like Mac.
Oh my god, we haven't heard from Michael
Because
Pacta in a
Michael,
while.
yeah, but like
Is he retired or something?
I like Michael Pachter, but God, a lot of the times what he says, the opposite happens. Like when he said Game Pass is going to have over 100 million subs, I knew right then and there it never would. You know, like
I mean, you never know. What if Asher does something cool?
yeah, I don't think so. That's not
How
happening.
about this? How about this? How about this? Asher cuts a deal with Pornhub.
But
Pornhub subscription with
Pornhub is
Game
getting
Pass.
like banned a lot of places here in the states.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a lot of states where you sort of need to you need
Really?
like prove your ID, man. Prove how
Well, how about
prove
this?
how old you
You
are.
you well you prove how old you are on Xbox as well, right? So maybe that's the play. It's like
Not
if you've
here.
got an Xbox Live account that's over a certain age, you automatically get Pornhub with Game Pass, bro. 100 million subs straight away. Easy. GG. You heard it here first, bro. Pornhub with Game Pass. Let's make it happen. No, 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 no.
Why not just call it at that point? Call it Porn Pass.
Porn Pass, bro. Let's do it. Now about this, you could like, I don't know, have a premium subscription to AI generated a porn of Xbox characters with Unreal Engine.
So Rule
There you go.
34.
Rule 34. Rule 34 with Game Pass. 100 million subscribers overnight, bro.
Does anybody subscribe to that
I
though? Like, does anybody actually
I don't
subscribe to
know.
anything at Pornhub? Like, I always wondered, like, everything's free. Why would you pay for it? But then again, I
I
guess
mean,
people pay for OnlyFans.
some
But
someone in chat can tell us. Someone in chat probably
I wonder if
subscribes
we
to
do
Pornhub,
have
man.
somebody in chat who subscribes to Pornhub. Do they have a subscription there?
I I bet they do.
What do you
I
not? Do you
got a
not get
feeling that
ads or something? It's like ad-free porn watching experience where you can like put it on the big TV and just sit back and just relax and watch your favorite performers perform without
I don't
without the
know.
annoying ads.
I would not know about anything to do with that, to be honest. Because I'm kind of an innocent kind of person, me.
Oh yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah,
I'm a
you're
kind
also
of an innocent guy.
you're fiance now, so I mean, like, of course, yeah,
Yeah, of
never.
course. Yeah, I've got a
You
fiance,
got a
so
girl,
yeah,
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Nothing like that, you know. But even before then, like nothing like that. I'm just kind of an innocent, kind of puritanical kind of guy, you know.
Mm, mm-hmm.
No I'm straight edge, like CM Punk. No drugs, no alcohol, and none of that.
Hey,
None of the rest of it.
I see
I,
WWE is sort of falling off a cliff.
oh yeah,
Well,
definitely.
apparently, tickets aren't moving for SummerSlam two nighter in Minnesota. It's not. They're not. It's not on fire anymore. Apparently. So.
No, they're kind of just they're recycling the same thing over and over again, and the bloodline's back again. It's like they've run out of ideas, bro. They've run out of ideas. I dropped off WWE when they completely flubbed John Cena's heel turn, man.
Mm.
They flubbed it, bro. And I was like, they ain't got a clue what they're doing. Not a clue what they're doing. So I bounced for a bit. I'll come back if it gets good again, but I ain't been interested recently. But it does sound like people are not loving the product right now. But maybe chat can tell us otherwise.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Bethesda stuff. Let's talk about the Todd Howard interview, Jez. Your crowning achievement, some would say.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I
what did you and Todd talk about?
we talked about Xbox 2 podcast actually. Todd
So
said he watches it. He watches the show. He
does he
listens to the
really,
show.
like, Todd? You're incredible, but do you actually really watch our podcast? I don't know if chat. Do you really think he does?
That's what he said.
I
He
mean,
said
I
he
know.
watched it.
Well, he's told you that before too.
He has indeed. Um, I'm guessing that these guys travel a lot, right? So maybe if he was on a plane and we did a show about Bethesda, maybe you listen to this one. I don't know. But yes, I interviewed Todd Howard. When I got the call, I nearly dropped the phone. I was never thought in my wildest dreams I would have such an opportunity. So a huge thank you to Xbox and Bethesda for that happening first and foremost, and Todd Howard, of course. But it was uh it was an interesting one. I only had 20 minutes, and there was so much I wanted to ask. There was so much to talk about because obviously he explained to me what they were going to announce the next day, which was everything that, you know, is in the title. We've got an Obsidian Fallout coming. Fallout 5 is now confirmed and in pre-production. We got Fallout 3 in New Vegas on the way, which I'm really happy about because I sort of talked about that on the podcast and then it went viral on Instagram. So a lot of people would probably be coming for me if that turned out to be wrong information, but luckily it wasn't wrong information. But we got that confirmed. We also got an update on Elder Scrolls. Apparently it's progressing nicely. It's still far away. And yeah, a bunch of other stuff too. So interesting day, but not everyone is happy about the announcements.
Well, I mean, I guess it really depends on how you look at it. Like, I definitely see like people that are glass half empty and half, half full. It's always exciting to know a studio's roadmap. But I mean, specifically, did you ask anything more about Todd? I mean, I know you asked him about exclusivity.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
like,
it was tough because there's a lot of stuff that I couldn't talk about or wouldn't talk about, right? I asked them I asked them obviously about what they were announcing, but I also asked a bunch of other questions about like stuff I think the Xbox community would be interested in. For example, given Ash's mandate on exclusives, and given the fact that Starfield was exclusive,
Oh,
I really was curious if Fallout 5 or Elder Scrolls 6 might end up going exclusive to Xbox. And he's kind of gave me a sort of knowing smile and
oh,
said, "We'll talk about that when the time is right." Were his exact words. So that could mean either it's going to be multi-platform or it's not going to be multi-platform. But
well, if they're really
if you had to guess, Rand,
well,
if you had to guess right now, I'm putting a gun to your head. I'm putting a virtual gun to your head. What do you think?
well, I guess it
What
depends
do
on
you
how
think?
serious they are about being a platform, right? And how serious they are
Mm,
about having exclusives. Because I think we can all agree that just Gears E Day and Clockwork Revolution by themselves ain't really going to do much at all, particularly, right? The games that will drive people to your platform and get to play are the massive franchises, which Elder Scrolls is, and so is Fallout at that point in time. So if you really truly want Xbox platform to be a destination, then virtually everything you put out outside of gigantic multiplayer titles would have to be exclusive rather. My bad. Like, and I know the arguments against it. Like, well, Elder Scrolls 6 is so massive. It's maybe a step under
so
GTA.
expensive.
So expensive. Like, it has to be on PlayStation. But I always sort of sit there and wonder, is Xbox and PC not enough? Is the Xbox audience plus the gigantic PC audience not enough? Like, where you also be like, we need also the PlayStation. I don't know. I feel like Xbox and PC should be more than enough for any of the games that they put out. But you know, the companies always get greedy and they want more and more and more. And we saw in Ash's letter basically saying that how Game Pass and even particularly multi-platform like kind of ruin their core business. So it really depends. Because I did see, Sean Layden come out and says like, hey, you can't be a publisher. What was this quote? Is basically you can
You
only be a
can't. You got to pick a lane.
which I know you
You
disagreed
can't be a
with.
publisher or a platform.
I know you disagreed with, but I sort of feel like you didn't read his full comments because I kind of agree with Sean Layden. I don't I don't think you can have one foot in the publisher thing and then another foot in the in the platform thing because it, we just saw Xbox was trying it. It didn't work. They literally admitted it didn't work. So
Hmm.
it's either like everything's exclusive except for Call of Duty or whatever, like big multi, and everything else is exclusive. So Elder Scrolls and Fallout and Obsidian's Fallout and whatever else. Or you're just a publisher, which isn't a bad thing because that's where like Sean Layden says like 80% of the money's made is through, the publishers. Like it's not a bad thing because that's where you can make the most money, but also at the same time your platform's going to decline for it. And we saw it firsthand with Xbox Jez. So I don't understand why you didn't agree with it because we watched it before our eyes. We saw the experiment fail completely. Now that may be because of Game Pass or what have you, but like we watched it fail, and it's like I sort of agree with them. Like you're either a platform where you have exclusive
I
games to
think
draw people to you to spend money on your store, or you're a publisher that releases their games on literally every device and you're just trying to make the most money as possible. I don't think you can do both of those the
at
justice
the end of
they
the
both
day,
deserve at the same time. I don't think it's
I
possible.
think you can. I think you can. I
I don't
genuinely
think
think you
so.
can, but you have to accept that if you do that, you'll probably have a smaller platform, sure. But I don't think it's impossible. And I say this because there are companies out there that just make hardware. They don't have any platform. And there are companies out there which don't have any hardware, just have a platform, like Roblox and Minecraft and whatever. So I think Microsoft can do both. But I think like the realities of if you aren't having exclusives, then you just have to kind of accept that you're probably gonna have a very, very small platform, you know? I don't know. But I completely concede that I definitely could be wrong. But I personally think there is a pathway to
I
being
think
both.
with the idea
But
of
I think at the very least, you can't expect to have a big platform if you don't
sure.
have exclusive content.
I mean,
I
an
think you've
X
got to if you want to have a serious platform, you got to have some form of exclusivity um to drive people to your platform, or you've got to be a monopoly like Steam, essentially. But like Xbox came from nowhere on PC to be in a very, very firm second place without having any exclusives on PC, really. You know, I suppose like Minecraft is available on Xbox PC, and I don't think it's available on Steam, or at least it wasn't available on Steam until recently. I don't think it's
I don't
available on
think it's on
Steam.
Steam. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of games on Xbox PC which aren't available on Steam. Like I don't think Roblox is available on Steam, for example. And the Valorant's not available on Steam, but it is available on Xbox PC. And I don't think the Koyaverse games are available on Steam, but they are available. Like Zenless Zone Zero announced they're coming to Xbox PC today. I don't think that's on Steam. So Xbox came from nowhere and sort of did build a platform on PC. And I know people like to say like, oh, nobody uses Xbox on PC, but I just know for a fact that's not true. It's the second biggest. It's bigger than Epic Game Store, right?
Yeah, but I
And
mean,
from what I've heard is like, and this is without considering BattleNet. And I've heard some interesting things about what BattleNet wants to do next year. I won't spoil BlizzCon, but keep an eye on what BattleNet's going to do as well. So, and Microsoft owns that as well. So, I think the idea that Xbox can't be both, I think is I don't think is necessarily true because they are both. Right as of right this second, they are both.
and how they doing?
You know, I mean, they're the second biggest by revenue,
I know, but I
so
mean, how they
pretty good.
doing? They're doing both, and they just laid off how many people and got rid of a whole bunch of studios and had a whole reset because, as I'm quoting Ashi here, the business isn't healthy. I mean, that kind of lends credence to the idea that you can't do both and be in a healthy place, does it not?
I think, I mean, kind of, but at the same time, I don't believe it.
I mean,
I don't believe it, bro.
you're
Because last year, Xbox had the best revenue it's ever had last year, and I don't think you destroy a whole business in 1 year. I think Call of Duty and Candy Crush having a bad year had a disproportionate impact on the bottom line, and I think Amy Hood freaked out. And I think if Phil was still there, I think Phil could have smoothed it over. You know, I think Xbox would have accepted lower margins. But Amy Hood's thing's always been we want a 30% margin. And we've heard that Amy's accepting that Xbox can't get to a 30% margin in the short term, but that's not what these layoffs suggest. Asher, these aren't Asher's layoffs. These are Amy Hood's layoffs. At the end of the day, Asher didn't wake up and think, "Oh, we need to lay off 30% of the business or whatever it is." That's Amy Hood. So I don't think this would have happened if Phil was still there. But I don't know.
I
I
mean,
could be wrong.
did Phil leave because he knew he had to do this and he didn't want to do it?
Maybe, definitely maybe.
I don't know. Obviously,
I think we'll ultimately see like the way it pans out because I don't agree with Sean Layden today. I mean, he might be right, but what I see Xbox is doing the very thing he said that they can't do. They're doing it right now today. And if you separated Xbox out, it'd be a Fortune 200 company by itself. So like everyone talks about how Xbox is like doomed and shit, but like when you actually look at the numbers that are public, it's definitely not as doomed as, I think Xbox wants to make it out to be to justify these layoffs. I genuinely think these layoffs are driven by greed,
sure. I'd
personally.
100% agree with you. $1 trillion company, Xbox that makes $25 billion in revenue, laying off 3,200. Absolutely by greed. Like what are we talking? I'm not going to dispute you on that one, but I tend to agree with Sean, and and it's like, oh, some people say, oh, this is a PlayStation guy. It's like I sort of felt like that even when Xbox went multi-platform in the beginning because I felt you couldn't do both. Maybe you could if you already were the market leader and like your second and third place competitors were also like weren't really putting up a fight. Maybe you could then. because you're the only game in the town. But then your analogy to Steam would be perfect because like Steam doesn't have any competition as much as how well Xbox has positioned itself as number 2 on PC. I, I don't. This may be mean coming from me, and I apologize to anybody that thinks so. I don't really think that's much of an accomplishment at all. Like beating out Epic.
Oh,
Uh,
that's mean, bro. That's
I,
mean, bro.
I mean,
Why'd you have
what
to be so mean?
I'm just saying, like it. I think it's a drop in the bucket when
You always
you
you always
compare.
have to be mean. You always
But
have
it's
to be
like
so mean.
I think it's a drop in the bucket compared to their position against Steam. So does it really matter who's second or third when all the money goes towards one place? Realistically, or does it matter what ranking you are at that point?
Look, bro, I'm an Xbox Ally X gamer. There are dozens of us.
Yeah,
Dozens of us.
but getting so yes, I do think they should make all the games exclusive. And that's not because I don't want like PlayStation guys or Switch guys playing the games because I could care less in that regard. I think it would make Xbox a stronger platform. And selfishly, I would love to see another meltdowns by journalists because they'd freak out about it if Elder Scrolls 6 was exclusive, the amount of vitriol some of these journalists would spit out of their mouths in their articles about Xbox would be apocalyptic level. Like
How dare Xbox
people
try
would
and
be
compete?
furious. People would be utterly furious if it happened. So there's a part of me that's just like, just do it just for that. I want to watch the world burn, you know. But
That
I feel like
you're
if
always about burning shit, bro.
yeah, bro, because it's fun. It's fun.
Mm.
I love seeing the people get upset about that. So yeah, like I'm glad that you asked Todd that question. I knew he wasn't gonna answer it, but I do think with how Asha's positioning herself, it's like how how committed to this are you? Are you fully committed? Because if you are, then Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 and everything needs to be exclusive. And if they're not, then you're not fully committed. Because if you're not going to use the biggest IPs that you have to your to help you out, then what are we doing here? Like I understand you can't do it with Call of Duty, you sign contracts and stuff, but for everything virtually else, like Elder Scrolls has no multiplayer. So there's no like, oh, it's got multiplayer, so it has to be multi-platform, and neither does Fallout. So like there should be no reason other than like, oh shit, it costs a lot to make and we want to make the most money back. It's like, well then at that point, I already know what's the most important thing to you. It's not growing your platform. You might as well just be a publisher at that point. Like,
Mm.
as cool as Clockwork Revolution looks, it's not gonna do anything. Like you need to basically transition to almost all of your games to be an exclusive for any meaningful, impact. Especially if you're also then see. I think where maybe you and Sean disagree is like I feel like when you're selling hardware, this stuff matters. Or when you're hardware agnostic, like Roblox, it really necessarily doesn't. So like Xbox has a Helix they have to sell. They have these consoles they have to sell, and like how are you going to sell that if people can get those games on the platforms they already own for cheaper? So like you sort of need to do it just for those reasons. I don't know. So my prediction is they will because they have to. And maybe I'll be
I
wrong.
will.
I think they will, and
Eh,
and you know what? Maybe I'll
flip
be
round.
wrong. That's fine because it's like we don't know when Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out. Maybe 3 years from now, 2 years from now. Maybe Asher's not even charged in 2 years. Maybe Amy Hood's like, whatever, we tried and you didn't do anything. Someone else in charge, please. And then like everything's multi-platform again. So who knows with Xbox's hot potato stuff? But I think if Asha's still there, I think they will be. And then I'll know how serious they are about this. Is that a good enough answer for you, sir?
Yes. Yes, it is, Rand.
What do you think? I want to. Well, now that I gave my opinion, I want to know what you think.
I think Todd and creation engine developers prefer developing for one platform.
Yes,
And I
I
think
100% agree.
We've seen this from history. I think the creation engine and I think Bethesda's development pipeline favors one platform development. We've seen this from the PS3 generation. We've seen it from Morrowind, for God's sake. we've seen Bethesda thrive by prioritizing one platform. I might be misremembering this, but I think Fallout 3's DLC didn't launch on PlayStation 3 at launch. It maybe came later, if at all. I can't remember. But they had a huge issue with developing for PlayStation 3. And honestly, Bethesda Softworks has always been Xbox oriented dev. They've been PC first, Xbox second, PlayStation third. They've always been like that, right? And I think it's because of having a close relationship with Microsoft over the years. But I personally think that Todd prefers being, at least prefers developing for Xbox first. So you're predicting there might be exclusive. I'm predicting that they'll be timed exclusive. I think they'll look at what they did with Starfield and be like, that's good enough for us. We'll launch them on PlayStation later and we'll prioritize Xbox. That's my prediction.
All right.
Timed exclusive.
What else did you and Todd talk about? Because how long did you have for your interview?
I had about 20 minutes for my interview, and I admit I didn't do the best job. I was very nervous. I was very tired. I did as good as I could possibly do. But after the interview ended, I was like, oh, I could have done way better there if I thought about this. I wanted to ask that. I could have framed it this way, so on and so forth. Everything's always 2020 in hindsight, right? But we talked about a lot of stuff. The first thing I asked him was, I literally just asked him, how are you? How are you doing? And how is the studio doing in the face of all these layoffs? And Todd looked like he looked visibly hurt, and he was talking about how difficult it is on the teams when these layoffs happen. But he was also talking about how Bethesda's been through this before. He talked about like in the 90s, Bethesda was really struggling before Morrowind blew up. He said that Bethesda was struggling. And then he talked about in 2016. Do you remember when Bethesda had this sprint of multiplayer games like Wolfenstein
Yeah.
Youngblood and stuff like that, and mobile games like Elder Scrolls Blades? Because they felt like the industry was changing around them and there wasn't enough room for single player games anymore. So they did this sprint of mobile games and multiplayer games. And I was like, and he was like, we had to change then and we had to like figure out a new path forward. And he said, the industry's changing again. And this is kind of like another one of them. We've got to figure out a new path forward. So it was kind of inspiring in a way to see him find the optimism in what is clearly a difficult time in the game industry. We talked a little bit about user generated content and Creation Engine 3 because the next Fallout game and the next Elder Scrolls being developed for Creation Engine 3 and Creation Club and user generated content and all that kind of stuff. But it does sound like he said that the thing that keeps him optimistic is the fact that he gets the opportunity to see the work they're doing. And he said he basically was like, the game's so good that it keeps me optimistic. Talking about Elder Scrolls 6 and stuff like that. So, it was bittersweet. And I think this whole week for him and them announcing all this stuff has kind of been bittersweet. I heard that Bethesda had an all hands meeting last week or over the weekend, and where they were talking about some of this stuff and sort of like trying to like recenter the studio and increase morale and that kind of thing. But it just sounds like it's been an incredibly difficult time. Like I've spoken to so many people from the Xbox platform team, from different Xbox studios, and there's so many people that have been laid off who've been like they've been there for decades, man. They've been there for decades. And Todd was like, Todd said there's been people I've worked with for decades who are now no longer here. And he said it's very difficult on me and the teams. I felt really, really bad asking that question, but you know. That was kind of how it kicked off the interview, which, probably like I don't know. It's the important thing because there are so many people whose lives have been impacted by these layoffs. Hundreds of people who've been uprooted. Some people who've got, like rely on, like, work visas, and now they've got to scramble and find another job. Well, they'll lose their residency in the United States. Hugely disruptive, so it was impossible to not ask that question first, I think. But there wasn't a lot he could say, to be honest, because all this stuff is so far out, Rand.
Right.
I asked him about platforms, he couldn't really tell me. I asked him about launch windows, he couldn't really tell me. You know, I really feel like this announcement was twofold. This announcement was twofold. This announcement was for galvanizing Bethesda, I think, and just sort of like being like, "Yep, this happened. There's nothing we can do about it. We got to put it behind us and move forward." And also, it was for fans who were worried that Xbox had gutted them to the point where they couldn't function anymore. Because we've also seen id Software put out statements this week where they were like, "There's rumors out there that we've been nerfed into the ground, and that's not true," that kind of thing. So it's just difficult time in the industry.
Did you ask him
I
about
don't know.
his relationship with Obsidian at all?
I
Like,
did, I did. So one of the things in this announcement, for those who didn't know, all three of you, was that Bethesda confirmed that they are working with Obsidian on a new Fallout game. So obviously,
which
people have been very.
New Vegas 2?
Sorry, go on.
New Vegas 2?
Y- Ah, well, I don't think it's going to be New Vegas 2. I think it's going to be like Fallout Chicago or something like that. I don't
New
think it'd be New Vegas.
New Vegas has the name value, the brand.
Yeah, maybe, but I think
I mean, they are
but
remastering.
it's
Remember, they are remastering New Vegas, so
they're remastering New Vegas, but it's not the done thing to have like the same location twice, is it? I don't think they've done that before in Fallout.
I
Jesse
didn't.
Norris in chat, shout out to Xbox Era, says Fallout
Day
New
one,
Indianapolis.
day one.
Day one.
Well,
Oh
no,
yeah, sorry,
Indianapolis. You might as well do Chicago. Nobody cares about Indianapolis, Jesse. Come on now.
Indianapolis. I don't even know what that is. What?
There's a state next to us that it's called Indiana. I mean,
Oh, I know Indiana.
yeah,
Is the capital
Indianapolis.
called Indianapolis? Oh, okay. What about Fallout Birmingham?
Fallout Chicago.
Oh, Fallout Birmingham would just be present day Birmingham, I think. Unfortunately, Fallout New Bismarck, Fallout New York. Is that correct? He says Fallout Seattle, Fallout New Tacoma. Where would you guys like to see the next Fallout from Obsidian? But yeah, I did ask him about Fallout and Fallout with Obsidian, and I asked him I asked him what I asked him for his opinion on the mythology that there's some kind of rivalry between Bethesda and Obsidian. Because there's always this sort of rumor in the Fallout community that Todd Howard doesn't like New Vegas and he doesn't like Obsidian and he doesn't want to he wants to, like, I don't know, um undermine them somehow. So I asked him about that, and he was like, he appreciates the mythology, but he was like, "There's just nothing but respect between us." And I regularly get dinner with who runs Fergus, who runs Obsidian, and it was just like it's just not the reality behind the scenes. But it is interesting about this Fallout project because from Obsidian, because there's a lot of there's a lot of weird rumors going around about this, not just like in the press, but also like in the game industry, I feel like. So like I heard I heard this interesting rumor that Obsidian had sort of developed this prototype game that wasn't Fallout by name, but it was kind of like very Fallout adjacent. And I spoke to people at both Bethesda and Obsidian who felt like this Obsidian project was very, very Fallout-y in nature. To the point where Xbox people were talking about whether it should be made a Fallout game or whether it should run on Creation Engine or Unreal Engine. Like these were like actual debates that were taking place at Xbox Game Studios. I think it wasn't being developed as a Fallout game, but there was genuinely a debate about whether it should be a Fallout game. And I think there's disagreements about whether or not Obsidian intended for it to be taken as a Fallout game. It does definitely feel like a lot of it is opinion based. Like some people are like, in my opinion, Obsidian was making a Fallout game in all but name kind of thing. So I don't know for sure what whether or not this actually was intended to be a Fallout game. Like, it sounds like it wasn't, but some people feel like it kind of was supposed to be some kind of Fallout pitch, or at least hint that Obsidian were capable of making a Fallout game. That's how some people definitely feel about it. Now, I think that's definitely their perspective, and it sounds like Jason Schreier, I think, put out there that this was never supposed to be a Fallout game. I've definitely spoke to people who disagree with that take. So either way, it sounds like whatever that was is kind of shelved now, and it sounds like this Obsidian game is definitely 100% obviously Fallout. It's been greenlit, and I would suppose that I would imagine this is going to be built on Creation Engine now, because the Fallout project was being made on Unreal Engine. And I did ask Todd. I said, "Is this Obsidian game going to be made on Creation Engine?" And he was like, again, like, it's too early to talk about that kind of thing. We'll talk about it in the coming months, coming weeks, coming years, whatever, you know. But I would imagine it's going to be based on Creation Engine because the Creation Club is such a huge part of how Bethesda's monetizing right now. I think they said they paid out $10 million to content creators now for making that stuff. So yeah, we talked about Obsidian, but there honestly wasn't like just wasn't a ton he could talk about. You know, a lot of it was just sort of adding extra context to what he announced, um, and that kind of thing, but not really talking about much details. But it was amazing to talk to Todd. Like, huge shout out to Todd, huge shout out to the Xbox team. I really wanted to. I was angling to get it on video, but they didn't want to put it on video. But you know, maybe someday, Rand, we can get him on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, he does apparently listen to it, so um
Mm,
yeah, so I mean,
mm.
I think it's really cool that Bethesda
One more
basically.
thing.
Okay, go ahead.
One more thing.
All right.
So another thing, since some people in chat are asking about it, um, I think Jason Schreier put out this first about Avowed 2, but I've also heard the same thing. Avowed 2 is not necessarily cancelled. But what they're doing with Avowed right now, and this is kind of like a modern game development thing where um you have like different parts of the team working on different things. So like the art team, for example, if the engine if the just I'm just saying, for example, if the tech team is working on the engine and the gameplay and that kind of thing, and the plan is for like the art team to come in later, um the art team, from what I've heard, some of the art team is still working on Avowed 2 right now. So I think like the idea is that eventually, when the Fallout project is released, that eventually Obsidian will come back to Avowed 2. So it doesn't sound like Avowed 2 is cancelled, which is great. Fantastic news, I think, because I think the Pillars of Eternity universe is amazing. But yeah, it doesn't sound like Avowed 2 is cancelled right now.
Okay, I mean, that's great for all the Avowed fans out there. It's also, I think, great for people that really like Bethesda to basically have a roadmap. I don't think they've ever done something like this where they came out and they basically said, "Here's what we're working on." Right? Yeah, the rumors are true. There is a Fallout 3 remaster and a Fallout New Vegas remaster, which,
Oh, dude, I'm so glad they confirmed that.
yeah, I mean, it was on the Bethesda leak thing from like 2021. We thought, well, are they actually going to do it? Because like it's been years, but the Fallout TV show blew up, and we were all like, where are the Fallout games? And I know, like, I did see Paris's post where he's kind of frustrated with how long it's taking a lot of these properties and games to be made. Like, his
Is
thing
Paris
was,
still in the chat?
probably not. I mean, we've been going for a bit. He might be, but I mean, he basically said that, like, how Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas should have launched with season 1 and season 2 respectively, and that there should have been, like, the Obsidian game should have been greenlit years ago instead of, like, basically now, because we're still going to have to wait. And Fallout 5 still is, like, basically, as I always said, hashtag Fallout 5 in 2035, you know what I mean? um
Mm.
so it's like one of those things Whereas like I get that, I get the frustration because Bethesda takes a while, and even with like them talking about Elder Scrolls 6, there wasn't really anything new. We don't really have a timetable for when it's coming, but at least you can look at it and be like, all right, we know what's on deck, even though we don't know when any of this stuff is coming and how long it's going to take to get this stuff. And it is cool to be like Obsidian's Fallout or whatever. Um, so fans can sort of be like, okay, we have a picture. You can get excited because that's what gaming's all about. Be excited, right? About the things that are coming. Devil's advocates, however, would say that this is a response to the layoffs that ZeniMax Online were having and Bethesda had, and that this is more of like a uh like a like a distraction to basically move the conversation away from all the people that lost their jobs. Because a lot of the ex-employees, of id and of ZeniMax Online were saying like, I don't know how the people left are going to be able to do any stuff. I mean, they specifically said that about id, like all the institutional knowledge of id Tech Engine and
Dude,
stuff. I'm just saying,
it is
like,
genuinely crazy, like the amount of the decades of knowledge that have been
it
laid off.
is.
And a former Xbox executive, I was speaking to a former Xbox executive about this, and they were like, Asher comes from the world of app development where basically it is quite easy to replace certain people in app development, but it's not the same in game development because, when it comes to game engines are quite I don't know, esoteric compared to like developing apps and things like that, which are more simple. So they were kind of suggesting that Asher might have made a mistake in laying off some of the long tenured staff because it's really hard to replace an art style. It's really hard to replace generational engine knowledge and like weird tools and learning all the weird tricks of like tech engine, for example, and that kind of thing. So that was something that was suggested to me, and I suppose like we'll find out in the coming months or years ahead whether or not like I don't know this does like genuine serious damage to the quality of games. I mean, I don't see how it can't do damage to the quality of games, but
Well, then,
we'll see what
I
happens, I
mean,
guess.
that could be the biggest problem Xbox had. Like, not necessarily, letting some of the studios go, but letting all the talented people who have the decades of experience that could essentially teach the juniors how to do stuff to become seniors and just letting them all go simply because you might be able to replace them with contractors or younger people who don't make as much money. So you're just basically have a bunch of savings because you don't no longer paying for senior position level. I mean, that could be the big thing that comes back to bite them in the ass across all this sort of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the layoffs at a lot of these different Bethesda studios. And then what do you know? On Friday, here comes like a pitch that's, or not a pitch, but here comes a roadmap of all the cool things that Bethesda's doing, and oh, here's some two games that were rumored that are actually real, and the Obsidian Fallout you guys have wanted forever, that's real too. Some people would say that that's basically just you know a distraction, like Xbox PR trying to get out in front and change the discussion from the negativity of the layoffs to the positivity of look at all these cool games that are going to be coming out in the future. No. So I definitely have seen people say that, and I'm kind of in like both camps because I can see like one of my first reactions when I saw this was like, oh, I wonder if Xbox wants to like curtail some of the bad PR that they've been getting over the Bethesda stuff, and what better way to do it is this? And so I do think maybe there is some truth to the idea of like distraction to that, but also like you know, uh, the morality studios are probably pretty low because why wouldn't they be? Like, you just got studios just got not necessarily gutted, but tons of people who've been there for years and years and years are gone. So, like, I'm sure nobody's like happy and nobody's like, am I going to have a job next time? So, you know, you got to do it to like boost people's morale. It's just sort of. I mean, you never see good news on a Friday, Jazz. That's always. Remember when I said that to you when we started the show? It's like this would be something you drop on a Monday or Tuesday, not like a Friday. So
You got
it's
to remember, Asha is from social media. She's social media savvy.
okay.
So breaking the mold and on that kind of shit is kind of
I mean,
her
hey,
MO.
I'm all
You
for
know?
it because it gave us something, to talk about on this show. Because otherwise, not really much happened this week. So yeah, now you like
We could have
so
spent the whole time talking about World of Warcraft.
yeah, right. Uh, so my hope is like we have the Fallout TV show, which is a big success. I think they're filming season 3 right now. I think it'll come next year. And if I'm them, God, I hope they can line up Fallout 3 to launch somewhat close to that, a Fallout 3 remaster.
Mm, can you
That would be
imagine?
cool. I mean,
Mm-mm-mm.
realistically, I don't. You've had plenty of time. That's what I'm hoping for. Not necessarily. I don't know if a better time before or after, but some to really take advantage of it because I'm not really sure Fallout 76 is like the best way to go about that. And then maybe you have like Fallout New Vegas the following year or whenever season 4 is. God, the more I think about it, the more I think Fallout 5 and this Obsidian game probably won't even be around. Like the show probably won't even be around when they release. You know?
Mm.
Did they also announce the Fallout Shelter like TV show or like game show or something as well?
Yeah, there's an unscripted Fallout Shelter kind of show where people have to live like vault dwellers. I'm weirdly intrigued by that
You should,
because, as
dude.
you
You
know,
should sign
Rand,
up for that. You should
I'm
sign up for that.
I so would, but I'm like a trashy TV kind of guy, bro. This is kind of my
We know this
wheelhouse,
about
bro.
you, Todd. You
Yeah.
know Jez loves the Kardashians and also Naked and Afraid. He like loves the
Oh,
reality schlock.
dude, my favorite right now is Married at First Sight. I don't know if you've heard of this.
No. Do you
So
watch?
like
Do
what
you
they do
watch Love
is
Is Blind?
no.
Okay.
Well, I think that's what Married at First Sight is. It's kind of the similar kind of thing. It's like they take couples and they have to get married and they've never met each other, and it's about like shit that goes down, you know. And also Love Island. Have you heard of that Love Island, bro?
I've heard of it. I've
Love
never
Island.
seen it.
Yeah, so people go on an island and have to fall in love and shit. It's very good TV. It's very smart TV. But intellectuals watch this kind of show, I think.
Oh,
But
intellectuals. Is that what you are?
yeah, I'm an intellectual, you know. I'm just, you know, kind of a smart guy, I suppose. I suppose you could say like me watching these kind of shows makes me something of an anthropologist.
I don't even know what to say to you. I mean, I don't.
Oh man. You that you don't sound very impressed by me, to be fair.
I
Oh,
so, sometimes
you're
I wonder.
speechless.
I mean, sometimes I wonder. We're like opposites attract because I would never be caught dead watching any of these reality TV slop, and like they're like your favorite thing ever, and I'm just you can't be bothered to read like a 10-page like book. Like we're
I read a
totally
book.
different. Yeah.
I read a book once. I told you about that book I read. What was it called?
Yeah.
A short stay in hell or something. I read a book. The first book I read in like 25 years, but I read a book.
Um
It was short, but you know.
we do have a couple super chats. We have one straight 15th, two Steam has exclusive content, Dota, Counter-Strike, etc. True.
That is
Uh
true.
Jer Go says any BlizzCon secrets, Jez?
Man, I do have BlizzCon secrets, but I'm not gonna tell you them,
Mm,
unfortunately. I don't want to ruin the surprises, but I'm pretty excited about BlizzCon. And furthermore, I am actually attending BlizzCon this year for the first time. It might be the last game event I ever go to before I get laid off, but we are going to BlizzCon and we're going to be getting lit out there, I think.
where's BlizzCon this year?
Anaheim, it's always in Anaheim, California. California. Anaheim. You
When
ever
it,
been to Anaheim?
no, I've never
That's where
been.
Disneyland is, right?
Then I have, but when I was a kid, I don't remember.
Oh, unfortunate.
When is it?
It's early September, so September the first week in September, I think, if I remember correctly, or the second week maybe. But yeah, I'm very excited, very very excited. This is kind of like my mecca, you know.
Okay. Well,
But I'm very very
I
very
am,
excited.
I am quite. I think Jason said there's like a new Diablo content coming, and like obviously the StarCraft shooter or whatever. Which
I wouldn't expect.
maybe I'm not saying
I
at
mean,
BlizzCon. He was just saying what was in
okay.
development, not BlizzCon.
Yeah, I mean, of course. The next Diablo project has been greenlit. I don't know if they'll announce it at BlizzCon. It's very early, but yeah, it's been greenlit.
Are we talking like next expansion or like Diablo 5?
Uh, well, it's not an expansion, put it that way.
Well, I mean, they gotta have
They are
something.
done with Diablo expansions, I think.
They gotta have something for that Diablo TV show when that comes out.
Yeah, they sure do.
That could be really cool. Diablo TV show could be great.
Could also be terrible.
It could be. It could be. Yes, it could be.
But I
Absolutely.
don't think it will be.
But I'm saying like it could be great.
It could be great. I hope it's great.
Yeah.
But it's a StarCraft stuff I'm really hyped for at the moment, I think.
So, what's your overall take of all the Bethesda stuff? Are you excited? What are you looking forward to? Um,
It's kind of weird. It's bittersweet for me because obviously a lot of people I know have been laid off. But there's also a lot of people I know still there. And I think like one of the things that kind of bugs me about the discourse around this, there's no obviously it's terrible for people who've been laid off, but there's no thought paid to people who are still there, you know. And the fact that like if these studios don't succeed, then they'll just be laid off as well eventually. I hate this take where it's like Xbox laid people off, so Xbox deserves to die. And it's like, oh, okay, so you want even more people to be laid off? Are you not just like, you know, a fanboy at that point, really? You don't actually care about the people who work there. You're just a fanboy. Just admit it. You know, like just admit it at that point. Why even pretend? You know, don't even front, right? But um so yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. Obviously, I'm happy that I interviewed Todd. I'm happy that they've announced Fallout 3 New Vegas remakes after like my reporting on it went kind of viral. And I'm happy that, you know, fans are getting the games that they've been waiting a million years for. I'm happy that Obsidian's got a new project, and I'm happy that Obsidian's working on Fallout again, because obviously Obsidian are incredible dev. But yeah, it's bittersweet, man. I mean, it's really shit that Xbox, you know, Amy Hood decided this was necessary, but I'm just hopeful that, you know, they get to keep making what they're making, and hopefully everyone who got laid off finds new work, and the industry gets to a healthier place, I guess. Difficult time, man.
hmm. Well, you know what? Let's take some Patreon questions, shall
Let's do it.
we? I actually still have a super chat here from Claw. It says that's Layden's point. Going full multi-platform with a small hardware platform is picking the publishing lane. Trying to keep Xbox as big as it was while going multi-plat, picking both lanes doesn't work. So
We'll see. It really depends on what Asher does, I suppose, and it depends how Helix is positioned. I mean, I don't think Xbox and Microsoft will hire Asher to bury her. They want her to succeed. It just it just makes you wonder, like, is Xbox not too far gone? Are these cuts too deep? Only time will tell, man.
yeah. So if you enjoyed the show, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Check out our sponsor, surfshark.com slash
Right.
XB2 for 86% off your deal for the VPN. And if you want to support us on Patreon, you can at patreon.com/XB2. All the links are in the description. We're going to do the question and answer thread where you could drop us a line and we will answer it. I don't think we have 30 questions like we did last week, so let's get to it, shall we, Jez?
Let's do it.
We have Shay Elephant who says, "Hey, Rand and Jez, why can't gaming be funded by debts like AI, Uber, Netflix, and have a long time strategy to make money in the long term rather than quarterly? Thank you."
Well, some games are funded by debt. I mean, Roblox is cash flow positive, but for a long time it was funded by debt and venture capital. There are devs
Well,
and
I actually
publishers that are
saw.
fund.
I think I saw like Mike Straw talk about how it's like the worst thing ever made in gaming, and then other people talked about how like Roblox has never made any money. Period. That's always.
Yeah, no, I think it is cash flow positive now, but it wasn't for a long time. Like, it's only like fairly recently where it started being cash flow positive, and you know, it was funded by venture capital. It was funded by debt for a long time, just like Spotify was, and just like Netflix was. It's kind of how business works. Like, you have a great idea, you get people to buy in, and then you grow and hopefully scale to the point where you can pay off your creditors, or don't pay off your creditors, and then you go bankrupt, like WeWork, for example, um, or various other companies that went bankrupt. So, but the thing is, like, venture capital firms, they tend to invest in what's the hot topic, right? And the hot topic right now is not gaming. There was a lot of venture capital for gaming during the pandemic when everyone was stuck at home. There was a lot of like mobile studios getting venture capital, and you know, there was a ton of like hype around this idea that an entire generation of people who were stuck at home would eventually become hardcore gamers. That just didn't happen. Like, as soon as the pandemic ended, all those sort of people who came into gaming vanished again. And in fact, a lot of people left and never came back because they were sick of gaming because of you know, they all went out, started going outside and touching grass. So the venture capital right now that is available across the world is being spent on artificial intelligence. So that's kind of like where the venture capital is going right now, and I suppose you know, that's just the way it is. There's a finite amount of venture capital available, and right now the hype, artificial intelligence has all the hype, not
Yeah.
gaming.
Well, also, I mean, like what he's talking about here could be applied to Game Pass in the beginning, where like they didn't have a base, so they were losing money essentially. So they were giving away $1 trials to get people into it, like the user acquisition mode, with the thought that eventually we'll be at 50 million subs and 70 million subs and 100 million subs, and then we'll be making hand over, money hand over fist, right? But in the beginning, we're essentially like running negative because we need that's what we need to do to get the service up and running. I mean, Netflix
Mm.
notoriously for a long time was also losing money, uh, and only recently started to make a shit ton of money, like the last couple years. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe gaming doesn't work like that because there's always the whole transition, or at least there used to be the transition of generations, and sort of like anything could happen. So like maybe you would make a bet, and then by the time the console matures and has a base, like you're already starting with the new one, which then you have to subsidize. Maybe it's just not a good thing to run like that, like it would be for those other services you mentioned. Logan Meyer says, "Hey y'all, hope all's well. Any chance World's Edge could do a Halo Wars 3 and or StarCraft RTS? Feels like the desire and opportunity for those projects."
I mean, I prefer Halo Wars to Halo the shooters, so I would love that personally. But you've got to remember, World's Edge isn't really a dev. They're more like they're a production company, and they kind of like they work with Forgotten. Is it Forgotten Empires? I think's the name of the studio. Forgotten Empires are the ones who actually make the Elder Scroll the Age of Empires games. Jesus Christ, what's going on in my brain? They are the ones. I'm getting tired. Can you tell? They're
Hmm.
the ones who make those games, and I suppose like the question really is, can Forgotten Empires make a Halo Wars, or can they make a StarCraft game? And personally, I think the answer is yes. Personally, But I think Forgotten Empires right now, didn't they just announce a new Age of Empires 4 DLC, I think, if I remember correctly?
I think so,
So I
yeah.
think yeah, I think, like, they're probably working on that for now, but, I mean, maybe. I mean, I actually did hear a rumor a while ago that this was something that was being pitched by World's Edge and Forgotten Empires, but will it materialize in the era of, Asher not and Amy not wanting to, take risks? It really feels like Xbox is moving to this universe where no risk there's no risk taking allowed, you know? So, maybe they think that's too risky, but because I really think, like, StarCraft is the expectations for a StarCraft 3 would be astronomical. StarCraft is like the premier AAA RTS. Can Forgotten Empires deliver something like that? Would Blizzard even, would Blizzard even want that? I don't know. Something that wasn't super AAA? I don't know. I don't know if the economics work, but never say never, man.
Silas says, "Hey guys, surviving the wild smoke, Rand? Yep. I saw the Odyssey, a must see, and one aspect of that movie that happens a lot in media, including games, is when content is set in a place that doesn't have pre-existing speech accents, like a fantasy or sci-fi worlds. I've always wondered why actors don't speak in their native accents when there is no baseline. For example, in the Odyssey, Tom Hyland, Hamish Patel, and Robert Pattinson speak in American accents. Anne Hathaway speaks in a not very good British accent. I never understood this. Thoughts?"
It's an interesting debate, and I've seen some of these actors address this with regards to the Odyssey because there is some debate about, oh, they don't have their accents. It kind of doesn't make sense because really they should all be speaking Greek. You know? It should be like if we're talking about historical accuracy, even though like it's a myth. First of all, the Odyssey's a myth. Second of all, you know, obviously they're all American and British actors. So, like, they can't speak Greek, and I don't think people would be particularly familiar with a Greek accent with English. So it is a bit weird. And I think we've kind of gotten used to hearing British accents in these kind of sort of historical-ish dramas because British accents somehow sound old-fashioned, I think, especially to American audiences. It's an interesting debate. I think it's less about like it's less about necessarily uh I suppose the accents and more about some of the language. Like if they go in there if they go in there and saying things like "Yo, dude" or something, or I don't know, popping off memes and shit. I suppose that's one thing, but I don't think the accents should be necessarily a big issue personally. I don't know how you feel about
I
it,
mean,
Rand.
it's I can see both sides to it, but also it's like it's for entertainment. So like I'm not surprised they went with like maybe the most I don't even know the word I'm looking for. Like you notice a lot of like when people are on the news, they tend to kind of like speak with a their accent is what is the word I'm looking for here? It's
In we do this in England, like, they have to speak like the Queen's English.
yeah, so like
So,
in
like,
even
on the news in England, they're always London accents, speaking proper English. There's
right,
never
right.
any, like, you would never hear my accent on the TV, for
Right.
example.
So like a lot of so like the news people here in the states is basically sort of a midwestern accent, which is kind of the like most I don't want to use the word desirable, but out of all the different sort of dialects in the US where you have like the really like the Boston accent or the New York the New York accent or the southern
"I'm working
accent.
here!"
Yeah, or like it's kind of just middle ground where it's just it doesn't really anger there's no you know what I mean like it's just
Neutral.
it's neutral so it's okay and I sort of wonder if it's the
What's
same
your
thing here
accent?
with the movies like I always go back to a movie like this TV show Chernobyl on HBO a
Oh
couple years
yeah, yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I
It,
love that movie.
well, not a movie, a TV
Uh,
show,
said
but
show.
one of the
Sorry,
best shows I've
I
ever
love that show.
seen. But it's set in
It
Russia
is.
during like the 80s, I think, right?
Well, it's set in Ukraine,
Well, yeah,
Belarus,
but like
and Russia. Yeah,
everybody speaks English and there's no accents. And I think they've talked about that where it's like if you wanted to be true to the roots, they be speaking like Russian or they'd be
yeah.
speaking like English with like a heavy Russian accent, but they don't because I think they just realized that they thought that this, the way they would do it was just it's better for everybody. I don't know. Like I get like
It
the
doesn't
idea.
bother me.
It doesn't bother me, but I'm also like I'm not from Greek, so there's been this whole anti woke movement against this movie because of certain casting choices. So the hate brigade has basically been out against this movie since the beginning. And one of the things that they say is like, "Oh my God, they're ruining Greek culture, right? They're desiccating Greek culture." I just saw that like the movie has the biggest pre-sales for a movie in history, more so than like the Avengers movies, right? So it's like, well,
Really?
so much for like the
Oh
Greeks
shit.
apparently don't care. Am I supposed to listen to these American uh grifters on social media tell me how like the Greeks are supposed to feel about their myth? Like, like Homer, was he even a real person? I don't even know. Like, did all this really happen? I don't think so. But they always like, oh, you're ruining Greek culture, all that stuff, and it's like, I don't know if I don't even know if they really care, but it certainly seems like, at least for the people that want to see the movie, that they like the people in Greece don't. Otherwise, they wouldn't go see it.
Isn't
Um,
Special Nick Greek?
yes, he is Greek. Yes,
We should. What's Special Nick's opinion? Get him in here.
I don't know. I don't know what his opinion on this. I mean, I can't. I mean, I love Christopher Nolan. He's one of my favorite directors. I'll watch this when it releases. I did read Odyssey when I was in high school, although I do I don't really remember too much of it. I did see people saying, "Please don't spoil this," and it's like, what do you mean? The story's been around for fucking ever. Like, what do you mean don't spoil it? Like,
Thousands of years.
yeah, I don't know. Uh,
I don't know.
Pat Rock says, "Am I the only one that thinks an id Software made Perfect Dark would be sick? Imagine Doom Eternal like mechanics, set in a cyberpunk-like aesthetic. It seems like this would be something that it itself was interested in pursuing. Well, I mean, they were pitching it, so I think they were. And if that was the case, they should have gotten rid of the initiative a long time ago and gave Joanna to id. Is there any hope for this still to come to existence?" Well, I think the problem there, Pat, is I mean, they were working on Doom the Dark Ages when Xbox acquired Bethesda, so I mean, they couldn't just give Perfect Dark to id because the initiative was still there working with Crystal Dynamics, so it's like they couldn't really do that. Could it still happen? I mean, Tom Warren says that they're working on what a Doom game right now, which honestly I kind of don't want. If I'm being truthful, I think Doom needs to go away for a bit. I'd rather have them make something new. Now, whether that's Perfect Dark or that John Wick game, I'd be down for either
I want
or.
a Hexen game. Where's the
I
Hexen,
know.
man?
I feel like doing like look. We can debate about was Doom Dark Ages a failure? Why didn't it do so well? What were the causes for it? But there's significant drop off between it and Eternal, and you have to do a postmortem to figure out why. I sort of
Maybe Game Pass is to blame.
yeah, but Game Pass ain't on PlayStation, so why didn't PlayStation players buy it?
Maybe there was just. Didn't it launch at the same time as Expedition 33?
It did launch in a window where there were a lot of great games. Yes. And I think it was like the last one to come out where like,
Well,
you
I was
know,
kind of like, even I was kind of like, I'll get to Doom the Dark Ages later. And that's what I've done. I've gone back to it now when there's nothing else really I want to play.
right. But there's a part of me that wonders if people are just fatigued with Doom and the Doom Slayer and they're kind of like make something else. They're
Hexen.
yeah, well, the problem is that nobody knows what Hexen is. So,
I don't give a shit. I wanna be a witch in the Doom gameplay. You
yeah.
know?
We got Nitram who says, "Hi, Rand and Jez. When I die, I hope I just fall asleep and never wake up again, peacefully like my grandmother, and not screaming in terror like his passengers." I mean, that'd be a nice way to go in your sleep. Yeah, that's how I'd want to go. Kind of a
I
morbid
want to go
question to
out.
ask though on the podcast, but like,
What?
what I
Oh,
wanted to
is
die
he
is
asking
to,
how we want to go out?
yeah, yeah.
I want to go out in a drug-fueled binge while riding a motorbike that's on fire into the sunset. A
Oh,
blaze of glory.
he says, oh, so I think I read it wrong because I said grandmother, but he says, "I never wake up again peacefully like my grandfather and not screaming in terror like his passengers," meaning that he was flying the plane or driving the car and just died. What? And then like,
Oh, what?
yeah.
Is he joking?
I mean, I don't
Is
know.
he
I mean,
serious?
that's what the
I don't
comment
know.
says.
Oh, that.
Like he was a pilot on the plane and then fell asleep,
Oh,
and then yeah.
oh, right.
Did you see that story
Oh,
about?
I think I've heard that. Isn't that a Jimmy Carr joke? Maybe. I don't know.
Did you see that story about? It was like a student flying lesson where the student's instructor
Oh, Jesus,
said,
yeah.
"Hey,
Oh,
you
that's
got
awful.
you got everything you can to fly the plane," and then literally jumped out of the plane to kill himself.
That's just so.
Like what?
That is so shit.
Could you imagine if that was
It's so
you?
horrible to do that to someone.
Yeah,
Yeah, it should be traumatized. Yeah.
crazy. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
Gustav.
we missed the point of his joke.
Yeah. Hey guys,
But dude,
Jez.
before you get the next one, someone's asking me about a missed super chat. Um,
Uh,
from Tal City Runner says we missed the super chat of his.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he says talk about PC COD prior to Modern Warfare 19 RCE exploits. I have no idea what he's talking about.
I think he's asking about the fact that like the classic COD games are really broken, and this is actually this is a topic we kind of missed this week. Was that like Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2 launched on PlayStation but not on Xbox?
That was last week. We talked about it last week.
Oh, I suppose, but
You said you were going to investigate it.
yeah, I'm still investigating it. So bear with me. I will go back and ask again for a statement. But it is shitty that like if you're on PC or Xbox, you're kind of stuck with these versions that are just full of hackers and abandoned now. Whereas like PlayStation gets these like more modern silos which are a bit more secure, I suppose. It's not fair, in my opinion, but we'll try and find out if they're going to do something about it. At the end of the day, they don't want people playing the old CODs. They want people playing the new ones. So I suppose it really remains to be seen what they'll do about it.
Yeah. Jez, can you shed any light on Helen Chang's COO role and how it relates to Matt Booty? In particular, the fact that she has P&L responsibility says to me that she is the one, alongside Asha, who will have the final say in greenlighting games. It could create a potentially healthy tension between the two.
She's the chief operations officer, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
So I think her job really is to make sure that the managerial layers aren't getting too bloated again. Like, because that's something Asher specifically complained about, was that Xbox had too many managerial layers and too much corporate inertia. And looking at LinkedIn, a lot of the job titles are sort of like senior business manager, product manager, product coordinator, like these kind of middle management kind of roles. So I think it's like her job to identify if they've got enough management or not enough management, is how I'm interpreting that shit. But I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'll try and find out more.
All right. We have Chris M. Says, hey guys, hope you're having a great Friday. I had to upgrade my PS5 storage recently, and the cost of the SSD sticks with taxes ran about $400 for my for 2 terabytes, or $600 for 4 terabytes. The cost of the whole system. With us being told next year prices may double again, and that's just a single component, could we possibly could we possibly be looking at a potential $1,500 for Helix? God, I hope not.
Well, I think like the idea is that those prices will come down before Helix launches. God, I hope they
Are
do.
you still holding
Um,
to it launching next year, or do you think maybe there's a chance it comes out in 2028?
I think it will probably come out in 28 now. I think like I think they would accept like some kind of like price increase, but I think like if memory price is gonna double again, if they haven't locked down like if they haven't like locked in a price and an order for that shit, it's kind of wild, right? I think there's potentiality here that they could be like, we'll release a version of Helix which has no disk drive, no SSD, I mean, and be like, bring your own SSD and just use a standard M2 or something. And maybe if you've got like an M2 drive lying around, you can just slap it in there, and maybe it downloads downloads the Xbox image from the cloud or something. I don't know, but I suppose we'll just have to wait and see, man. I mean, there are levers they can pull to to lower the price potentially. One of them is like a sort of bring your own storage model. Another one is sort of like maybe they've locked in memory prices early. I honestly don't know, man. We'll just things are so in flux right now. I don't even want to put a prediction out there.
All right.
We'll see.
Uh, Goggles lens. Hey guys, the question of Helix being open is an important one. I, for one, think it should be open. If it is closed, it would be cool that your Xbox PC and Xbox console games could be played together, but otherwise, what would be the point? Cross gen seems to be lasting half the entire generation anyway, so a closed console would feel more like a Series X Pro more than anything. I think the fee to open would be the best thing. It would be a barrier of entry to keep mass market from just installing Steam, but also making it an official feature. Having mods in Steam and no online fee would be great. It would be a great differentiator and basically be a PC anyway. Another option would be to just sell the chip that has the back compat and be able to slot that into your current PC rig. What do you guys think? I mean, they're probably going to do that or sell that chip. They'd be able to do that. Um, but yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Helix and its openness. Maybe Jez is right, where you kind of said maybe they don't allow Steam, but they allow GOG and they allow Epic. Or we've had people speculate that, oh, well, what if you had to pay a $200 fee to unlock Steam or something on there, which I don't know. Or maybe you had to be subscribed to Game Pass to be able to play the games, and it's like, oh, I don't know about that either, but I'm sure it's something they're thinking about, right? Um,
Sorry, say that bit again.
about Helix and the openness of it and what they should
Oh
do,
yeah, so
because he's saying that,
Goggles Lens, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in two minds about this, and I've actually been planning to write an opinion piece about it because one of the things Valve said about the Steam Deck is one of the reasons for its price is the fact that it's open, and there is at least some. It's unlikely, I think,
The Steam Deck or
but
the
there
Steam
is
Machine?
the Steam Machine,
Okay.
but also the Steam Deck to some degree. But there is some potentiality that you could just you nobody's going to do this, nobody. But there is potential that you could install Windows on Steam Machine and then never use Steam. And then if they're selling that device at a loss or subsidizing it, then they are paying for your fun.
I mean, Xbox is
That's not
number
a good,
two on PC, so
yeah. But so someone could get a Steam machine and install Genshin Impact on it via Windows
sure.
and never spend a penny on Steam and just play Genshin Impact all day. So then Steam would effectively be funding your fun because they've lost $200 and then all you've done is played Genshin Impact off Steam, right? So you can't subsidize the box if it's open, right? And that's why the Steam machine is so expensive. So if Xbox is putting out a system that is like by Sarah Bond's description premium and it's open, you're looking at desktop PC prices because that shit won't be subsidized. If it's open and you can install Steam, they have to sell it for a profit Otherwise, they're just going to lose millions and millions of dollars. And I'll tell you this, I've got internal documents about the way people behave on the Xbox Ally, the Xbox Ally X, right? Now, the Xbox Ally X comes with the Xbox Store pre-installed. When you boot it up, it loads straight into the Xbox Store, right? Despite that, more than half of the people who buy an Xbox Ally go straight to Steam and never look at Xbox again. So imagine if they were selling the Xbox Ally at a loss. They'd be losing shitloads of money. They would be subsidizing it for no reason, and they wouldn't be making a penny. That's not a good business model. So, in my opinion, given the memory route, and given the fact that Asher wants to become a platform again, I think we're probably not going to see Steam on the Helix anymore. And I think at most, what they do is, and this is just a prediction, I don't have any information on this. At most, I think they'll cut some kind of deal with Epic Games and GOG maybe, and do some kind of revenue share model. So there can be like, yes, there are PC versions of games on here, and the Epic Game Store is pretty respectable with third party support these days, and so is Good Old Games. And I think like they could do some kind of revenue share model where they can be like, well, it's open in the sense that there are other stores on here, but they have to abide by our revenue share model or something. Otherwise, we can't subsidize it. Otherwise, it's going to cost $1,400, $1,500, you know? So that's kind of my prediction on it. I think the likelihood of Steam being on there is probably remote now. And to be completely fair, they never said Steam. In fact, when Phil was talking about this, he always said Epic Games. He never talked about Steam. And I think it's because he knew Steam would make the economics break. So, if they are wanting to be a platform rather than just a publisher, if they are a publisher, then just using Steam would be fine. They'd dominate the Steam charts with Call of Duty and whatever else. And they'd turn Steam into their store, I suppose. But it doesn't sound like we're doing that anymore. So I really do question whether or not Matt Booty and Asher will actually go ahead with the Steam thing. I could be wrong, but I think they're going to change the model, personally.
All right. We got John, who says, "Hey guys, this question is about the layoffs. Do we know how many experienced staff were laid off and either not replaced or replaced with newer, less experienced people on cheaper rates? I feel the numbers don't really tell the whole story, and I'm keen to understand how weakened each studio is following the past couple of weeks." I mean, a lot weakened. I don't think they replaced anybody yet. I mean, it's not like it started hiring people, so I mean, and if you look at who got laid off at it was basically like the majority of the senior staff. So I mean, same thing with ZeniMax. So yeah, it got weakened pretty good.
It's annoying because I remember under Kotick, they did this hire and fire thing where it was like they laid off a load of people, tenured staff, and then they'd hire them back at a lower rate or like a different job role that was like a lower pay. And the people had no choice but to take it because they couldn't find any other job. Or they just loved Blizzard and they loved their team and they ended up having to accept a lower role. Doing that kind of thing is illegal in Europe, but unfortunately completely legal in America. So I do suspect that if they I do suspect that Xbox will end up hiring a lot of these people back, down the line. We just got to sort of keep an eye on like whether or not the hiring practices are even vaguely ethical. But I don't see how like some of these teams can be expected to put out the same level of quality without the same amount of staff. Like wanting to reduce managerial inertia is one thing, but they've laid off like artists and engineers and developers. It's not just like you know random middle managers they've laid off. They've laid off like really talented, tenured, experienced devs. I don't know. It's weird shit, bro.
Jimmy says, "Hey Jez and Rand, I read the Bethesda roadmap and I'm very excited about it. Jez, have you had any plans to write some articles on what Xbox studios are working on after the latest layoffs? The latest layoffs? It would be really interesting. Cheers, Jimmy."
I actually have an article that I've been meaning to update for a long time. That's just like everything Xbox Game Studios is working on. Like in the old model before artificial intelligence, we'd have these articles. We call them evergreen articles, and they were just kind of like they were like informational reference articles, which kind of they if you Google something, then our article will pop up. But these days, if you write these kind of articles, these reference articles, you Google it, and then Google just steals your information and then puts it in the Google Gemini summary box. So it's become like not viable to write these kind of articles. Now the only thing that's even vaguely viable is news, and even that's getting to a point where that's not really viable to write. Like I say, like my entire team's been laid off at Windows Central, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be next. So it's Google's destroyed that whole business model. But I will write that article for you, and thanks for checking being one of the few people left to check out my content. Um, we've got a bunch of people asking about super chats again. Rand, my buddy.
I mean, there's only one extra one. Tal Seti Runner says, PC COD prior to Modern Warfare 19, your PC can get remoted into and hacked, and it's hacked so bad, yet they still sell them without any disclaimer, nothing. How is this okay at all?
Oh
Well,
yeah, okay, I know what he's talking about now. So apparently, like the older Call of Duty games, there's like a remote code execution attack where they can like use Call of Duty as like a way to deliver malware into your computer. Um, I'll dude, if you've got Twitter, can you DM me some information about this? And I will try and get an answer out of Bethesda about it. Activision, sorry. I'm trying to get information out of Activision right now about the Black Ops 1 and 2 thing not being on Xbox. But I'll also look into this remote code exploit thingamabob as well. But other than that, I don't know anything about it, and I couldn't give you an update. But I agree with you that it's fucked up if they're selling malware basically. At least Steam should be putting disclaimers on that shit, if nothing else.
I don't think Modern Warfare. I don't think Modern Warfare 2019 is on Steam. I think it's only on.
On Xbox PC, it's on
Uh,
Xbox PC because I
it's on
saw it on the
Xbox
store.
PC, and it would be on BNet,
I think
right?
it is on Steam. Yeah, I suppose so. I'll
No, because remember
say
they made a big thing about COD coming back to Steam with not last year's game, but the year before's game, right?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, just do a real Google search right now. Modern Warfare 19. I don't think it's on Steam.
I
Maybe.
think it is. I think it is, dude.
Well, let's do so.
No, he says prior to Modern Warfare 19.
Oh well.
So like the older games.
Okay. Well, then I mean, I think obviously they probably shouldn't sell the game if that's a problem. So I think it's on the store selling the game and then the developer selling the game too. I think it's on both of them. Like if it's on
Oh, this is
Steam,
this is like this is one of the downsides of Helix being open. If it is open, if it does run full Windows, you kind of lose that experience that console tends to have, which is like generally you don't have to deal with hackers as often. Especially if the game like doesn't have crossplay. If the game doesn't have crossplay and it's only available on the modern consoles, they're not these platforms are not easy to hack. And most you get like um people using keyboard and mouse when they shouldn't be. But yeah, I'll try and look into it. Um yeah, people in chat saying they're all on Steam now.
okay.
But even so, they're talking about the older ones. But yeah, send me some information on Twitter and I'll try and look into it. But I'm trying to investigate a lot of things right now. Like in the past, I would have been like getting my team on it. I don't have a team anymore, so it's kind of like I'm trying to do a lot by myself. It's becoming difficult, which is why it's really fantastic when you guys support us on Patreon because it helps a lot.
Jimmy K says, "Hi guys, if Microsoft's first party Helix ends up being a closed box, do you think they will still end up offering the Magnus chip to OEMs for an open alternative? I was looking forward to Helix being open, but if it's closed, I'm still leaning more towards getting a PC down the line. and would like to get a device that has back compat of my Xbox digital library, but still have the option of buying things on other stores if it's not available on Xbox PC, like Repo, Mecha Chameleon, etc. Thanks for all that you do.
I suppose that's the play, right? I suppose like what they could do is like if they sell their first party closed Xbox and be like, we'll let OEMs deal with the monetization of like a third party Xbox that is more open. I suppose it's problematic because they've commissioned those chips from AMD which can run Windows. And now you're kind of gonna nerf the functionality of them. It's gonna be really interesting to see how they thread that needle because it does not it does not correlate with what Asher wants to do for the platform. And it doesn't correlate with the memory crisis. I think if like the memory crisis wasn't a thing, the economics might work. But I think with the memory crisis, the economics are tighter than ever on these devices. And when they're tighter than ever, kind of has to be closed, doesn't it? I don't know.
We have, let's see, Boris says, "Hey, Jez and Rand, this week had a good drop of new console features. It's really nice to see Xbox putting in the work on consoles again. I was expecting an announcement on Positron going live for the Insider Track this week. Do you have an update on the status of Positron? I personally will be doing much more bargain hunting for physical dicks if this becomes a reality, despite moving to full digital at the end of the 360 era." Well, so Jez said it was this week, and now he's backtracked and said it's next week, Boris. So there you go.
Or maybe the week after.
Or maybe the week
Um,
after. Who knows? Or maybe
so
it's
so I
canceled. I don't know.
It's not. It's definitely not cancelled. So I was told that I asked people during the show, and I was told that they're still working out some of the details and how they're going to talk about it from a PR perspective and that kind of thing. But it does sound like the announcements are relatively imminent. So I would expect them by the end of the month. They still haven't materialized by the end of the month. You can get mad at me and shit, but it does sound like they're pretty close. So I say by the end of the month, maybe early next month at the very latest, but we're getting close to it.
We have, let's see, C Howdy says, "Hello, boys." Or C Woody, my bad. "Do we think the final decision about Steam on Helix is made yet? Ever since getting my Ally X, I've fallen in love with this device and would be disappointed if Helix doesn't have Steam. Thanks."
Yeah, well, we've talked about it a lot already, and it's kind of like the thing about the Xbox Ally is it's up to Asus to deal with the economics of that. So Asus buys memory in bulk, not just for the Xbox Ally, but for like laptops and other things. So like they've kind of got an advantage in a way because they ship so many devices. They've got that memory, they've got those memory deals locked in. And and somehow the Xbox Ally X has not yet gone up in price in the West. Somehow, which means that Asus must have locked in a good deal for memory and they haven't had to put the price up yet. But when that contract expires and they have to, look to get in a new contract for memory, then all the bets are off, right? So with with that, like it's up to Asus to deal with the economics. But when Microsoft's doing it, it's a little bit different because their Xbox is almost like a boutique kind of device now. These are not like being sold in a mass market kind of way, like the entire Asus operation. Like Asus makes tons of different laptops and tons of different devices which all have memory. So they can like buy at like these sort of wholesale prices, which gives them a bit of leverage on, you know, moving the price a little bit, economics of scale and all that stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I really think it could go either way with regards to Steam right now. Unless Asher can like do some kind of magic and pull off like a really cheap memory deal somehow, some way, some form, some kind of super duper innovation on, doing more with less RAM or something like that. I'm right now, I'm of the pessimistic opinion that we probably won't see Steam on Helix without some kind of paywall, maybe. Maybe they do some kind of paywall where it's like, okay, to unlock the device, you've got to pay us some money because otherwise we're going to lose a shitload of cash here, But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Murray says, "Hi, Jez and Rand. With the info that about 80% of Xbox business still runs on consoles, which is a low install base, it's hard to understand some decisions from the past few years that negatively impacted console sales, like prioritizing xCloud servers over consoles at the start of the generation, PlayStation ports, it's an Xbox ad campaign, maybe even Steam ports. How do you see it?" It's like they were trying to do everything they can to make that number go lower as possible. Like they felt that consoles aren't the future and that they needed that number to keep on creeping down to like 70% to 60% to 50%, because then they probably feel, oh, the business is healthy if 50% of Xbox's business is on consoles because we made it, that means we made inroads on PC and on mobile. So they probably look at it like we needed, maybe not necessarily needed, but we need to go to these other areas to to make more money and to grow the brand more. Because I think the previous administration felt like consoles are a thing of the past, essentially, and they wanted to change that. So I feel like they intentionally downplayed it and they upplayed everything else because they felt like if we could succeed in those other areas, then we win. But they didn't. So they didn't. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they made the wrong bet.
Yeah. Panda Man says, "Hey guys, I went forward with the Steam Machine. As a power user, if the Steam Deck, this thing is pretty freaking sweet. It is better than my PC, no, but that's not what it's made for. My PC sits in my basement as my wife doesn't want to look at a huge PC in the living room. This creates a tricky situation. The Steam Machine does everything it's designed to do, and it's my kid's favorite device because of the indie Steam games I own. My question on Xbox is related to the UI and changes to Windows. Do you think Xbox will hit the ease of use of the Steam OS? I know Jez uses the Asus ROG, and I'm curious how easy it's getting to use. Have a good one, guys. They need to, buddy. That thing needs to be as good as Steam and run as good as Steam. We'll see if it does. So how is the ROG these days? Although I think you said you broke your right bumper on it, yeah. How's
Oh
how's
man,
the,
I saw.
how's the ROG UI these days?
Yeah, like I've got a D brand kill switch case on my Ally, and I've been trying to get it off because I want to upgrade the storage on it. But I think I've broken the bumper because the case is on it so tightly, and there's literally not a single tutorial online about how to remove the case. Ugh. So, but yeah, that's my own. If I have broke the bumper, it's very much my own fault. As for the interface, I think the interface is pretty easy to use, but I would argue that it's still not quite as good as Steam. There's still some um there's still some like idiosyncrasies between just because of the way Windows works. Like for example, the Xbox Game Bar overlay, which is supposed to mimic the guide on Xbox, for example, it can get confused because it is a window basically, and sometimes like it will get confused about whether it's the in focus window or not, and then you'll have to tap the screen to like remind it that, oh yeah, that is the thing I want to be navigating on right now. It's like weird little things like that, which are easy to navigate if you're familiar with Windows, but it doesn't feel like a very native experience like the Nintendo Switch does or the Steam Deck does, for example. So it is getting better. It's getting like the speed is there as of right now. Like I tweeted last week that I felt they've improved the initial load responsiveness. So one thing that really bugged me about it was when you first boot up the device, because I shut mine down fully. I don't. It's a habit I've picked up like over the years of just fully shutting things down. When you fully boot it up from like cold boot, it takes like a good couple of minutes before it becomes responsive, which is irritating. But it has gotten a lot better now. So and I have heard there is like a big update coming for it later this year, like a more of like an overhaul maybe. So we'll see what happens there, but they're definitely getting there. Um, if you are, but it's still something I'd only recommend if you're heavily into the Xbox ecosystem. If you're more into the Steam ecosystem, then I probably wouldn't recommend it because it's not great with Windows. But I think you can put Steam OS on it these days. I think there are some, like, custom drives and shit out there for it. But I'm in the Xbox ecosystem, and for me, I think it's fantastic.
All right, we got a good old Collinwood who says, "Hello, Rand and Jez. Sad news this week. So I'll ask your favorite Sam Neill performance: Jurassic Park,
Come on.
Event Horizon, Merlin, Peaky Blinders, so many movies and TV shows. What did you like best from him?" Yeah, rip Sam Neill. I mean, it's got to be
Sam Neill's
Jurassic
amazing.
Park. It's got to be Jurassic Park, right? Like Dr. Grant. Although I do love me some Event Horizon, Dr. Alan Grant is just iconic in that movie. It's an iconic character brought to life by Sam Neill. So that's my that's what I say.
Yeah, I'm very, very fond of Event Horizon, of course. But he's also like, more recently, he was in Peaky Blinders a fair bit, wasn't he? I think. I've really been meaning to watch Peaky Blinders because it's like it's the only TV show set in Birmingham, so it's I kind of feel like I owe it to my countrymen to watch that fucking TV show, and I haven't got around to it. But the dude's kind of a legend, isn't he? I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Jurassic Park, the iconic one, but I just love Event Horizon, man. I just love that movie.
Yeah. Super chat, we got one STN 15-2 says Helix being open was just Phil exiting hardware.
Yeah, maybe. They were kind of going down the Surface route where it was like, we'll make Surfaces for the fans, but they're being sold at a premium and they're not designed for mass market and they're also not designed to compete with OEM partners. Because like if you're buying Surface in 2026, it really is because you want that high end kind of experience. Like you like the way the device looks, you like the way it feels, you like that premium feel, that uncompromising Apple style delivery. But they are not good value for money. The Surface devices are not good value for money. And I kind of feel like that's where they were pushing Xbox in that direction, where it was kind of like, yeah, Xbox will exist and it'll have a premium feel and all this, but it wasn't going to be good value for money against getting a genuine gaming PC. It's going to be really interesting to see what Asher does with this. And it's really confusing for me because I feel like this is what Saty was pushing for when he was in the FCC trial. He was talking about how he hated exclusivity, and if it was up to him, software would be everywhere, and and also Roanne Sones. So Roanne Sones used to run Xbox hardware, and she was one of the execs that left when Asher came on board. And what was her job before running Xbox hardware? It was running Microsoft's Windows' OEM relationships. So her job was to like work with Dell and Asus and Acer and Razer on building devices for the Windows ecosystem. And like that's kind of her expertise. But when Asher came on board, they, you know, she retired. So it does sound like maybe they're going back completely to that old model. But I also just Rand, I just think like maybe Phil was right. Maybe there's just nothing that can stop the bleed, especially now. I don't know.
Mm. Well, I think that's a good stopping point for the show because we've talked about everything I wanted to talk about. Do you have anything you want to mention or anything
No.
that we need to
Um, if you
delve
are
into?
someone who was affected by being hacked on Xbox app, send me a DM or put out a tweet, and I'm gonna put an article together soon about the whole Xbox customer support thing. I've been talking to people at Xbox about it, and it does sound like there is some movement on improving the experience for people who have been struck by this. But the more noise we can make about it, the more we can improve the platform for people that are affected by this kind of thing. And also, if you haven't been affected by it, like it'd be good, you know, to lend your support because you could be affected by it at some point. Now, a lot of the people that were hacked had two-step verification set up, which is very concerning. So, you know, but yeah, That's good, and I'm looking forward to a very relaxing gaming weekend. Frankly, I'm gonna be playing me some Doom, I think, this
Are
weekend.
you? Yeah, hopefully, everybody avoids the explosive diarrhea bug, uh, parasite going around. I saw Taco Bell
Yeah.
finally posted. They said we've removed all the affected lettuce from Taco Bell stores, so go ahead and enjoy Taco Bell. I wonder if it affected any of their sales in the last week or so. So probably,
Well,
right?
isn't I had Taco Bell when I was in Hawaii for the first time, and it made me ill.
Mm,
It was delicious, but it made me ill. And people were just like, "Yep, that's Taco Bell." So isn't it just like accepted that if you go to Taco Bell, you're gonna get ill?
I guess. I don't know. It's just
It's
funny. It's
so
just funny
nice
to see
though.
Taco Bell like we removed it. No more shit
Oh man,
parasite on our lettuce. Please come eat here again. We promise you
it's
won't get
delicious
sick.
though, man.
We promise the diarrhea you're gonna get are just the regular diarrhea. So, anyways, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out our sponsor, surfshark.com/XB2 for a 2-year 86% off uh, deal for the VPN. Protect yourself online. At our Patreon, patreon.com/XB2, where if you want to support us directly, it's all good. If you're on Spotify or iTunes listening to this later, we love you just as much as the people here on YouTube. Leave us I don't know, a review, good 5 stars or whatever. And with that said, have a great weekend. If you're in any of the areas affected by the smoke, don't go outside because it's pretty bad out there. And keep it gaming, yeah? Later.
Keep it gaming, baby.